championship. Joe Paterno has 2 national titles at Penn State, and his Nittany Lions have a 25-year tradition of excellence. And so tonight, the 122nd season of college football begins. It's Penn State and Georgia Tech in the Kickoff Classic. Raycom presents the Kickoff Classic. And it's brought to you by Napa, because there are no unimportant parts. By the 25th Anniversary Diamond, a brilliant celebration of the loving marriage. By Coca-Cola Classic, you can't beat the real thing. By AT&T, the right choice. And by Aflac, insuring over 35 million people worldwide. In the distance, the skyline of New York. And tonight we are across the Hudson River in the shadow of the Big Apple. It's Giant Stadium in East Rutherford, New Jersey, where a sellout crowd has gathered for the 1991 Kickoff Classic. It's the Nittany Lions of Penn State and the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets. And hi, everybody. I'm Tim Brandt, and welcome to the Meadowlands. This is the 9th annual Kickoff Classic, a game which traditionally signifies the beginning of the college football season. Tonight, 2 contenders. Georgia Tech comes in with the longest unbeaten streak in college football, 16 games. Georgia Tech, well, they finished as strongly as anyone last year, and they have virtually everybody back. The preseason polls have been kind to both. As you take a look at the coaches poll, let me tell you, Georgia Tech tonight is the home team, but Penn State is the favorite. The reason for that is Georgia Tech has some serious problems in its offensive backfield. William Bell, last year's leading rusher as a running back for Georgia Tech, suspended in May. That story has been well documented. He was charged with misdemeanor theft. James Reese, same thing. Now, 2 weeks ago, they had Jeff Wright go down with a broken ankle. So as we turn to our expert analyst, Dave Rowe, 13-year veteran of the NFL, 2-time All-Pro, Georgia Tech has some problems offensively.
Yes, Tim, they have huge problems. But Bobby Ross says that if you're deep enough, someone will owe a step forward. And tonight it falls on a redshirt freshman running back named Jimmy Lincoln to do just that, step forward. At 5'9", 183 pounds, though, he has some big strides to make.
Well, if Lincoln has butterflies being the freshman, you know the pressure will be on the shoulder squarely of the quarterback, Sean Jones.
Oh, and everybody's targeting at Sean Jones. But anytime you have the talent of a Sean Jones, you can take charge. He might just say, forget about the inexperience at running back. I'll just throw it all night.
The other side of the field, Penn State. They've got a quarterback named Tony Sacca. Here's a kid that's been up and down through his career. He's had some run-ins with Joe Paterno, but he seems to be maturing.
Well, every time you look at Tony Sacca, you say, wow, he has all the qualities you want in a quarterback. Size, 6'5", 225 pounds. Good speed, good mobility, and he has a strong arm. He needs to answer the call tonight.
And even though this is the first college game of the year, I don't think there's anybody out there that will disagree with this statement. Penn State has one of the best defenses you'll see all year.
Well, they don't call it linebacker university for nothing, but the class of 1991 is an exceptional class. A lot of people at Penn State are saying this may be the best defensive team Penn State has ever put on the field.
All right, Dave, the teams are ready, the fans are ready. We will have the kickoff shortly after these messages. Penn State, Georgia Tech, coming up. Wouldn't it be Giant Stadium preparing for the Kickoff Classic? It's the 9th annual. Penn State and Georgia Tech, and this place is jammed. Let's take a look now at what Penn State has to do to succeed tonight, and it's brought to you by Coca-Cola.
Well, Tim, first of all, we talked about Tony Sacca. He and Joe Paterno have had disagreements over the philosophy of Penn State, but it's now Tony Sacca's turn to not question, just perform. They have to replace 4 linemen. It's a little bit easier when you have great talent like Penn State does. And that people at Penn State are saying, hey, potentially this is the best defensive unit we have.
All right, now Coca-Cola must for Georgia Tech.
Well, for Georgia Tech, it's an easy one. Sean Jones is the first thing. Carrying the extra burden tonight, the inexperienced backfield, he just needs to perform to his ability. Bobby Ross is saying that every time we have somebody get hurt, somebody's come to the front and answered the call. He needs that instant maturity at running back. 5 of his 6 running backs are going to be freshmen tonight. And also, 2 years ago, I was in this game, and Virginia came in here trying to prove that they belonged here, and it was a disaster, so they need to control their emotions.
Okay, we'll return after these messages from your local station. This is the Raycom Network.
This program is sponsored by Raycom Incorporated.
Here at Giant Stadium, Penn State has won the toss, deferred. They will be kicking off, and this is how Joe Paterno sees things this evening. Tony Sacca has had some run-ins with Joe, but tonight he'll be carrying the burden. He started almost 30 games, and he is experienced. How about Bobby Ross?
I think he's certainly one of the top 20 programs, don't you think, Tim?
Well, they may have won it a year early. He's taken a 2-9 program to a national champion in 4 years. A look at Greg Fayak, who will be kicking off Penn State. Deep for Georgia Tech will be Kevin Tisdale. It is a hot night in East Rutherford. And the 1991 college football season is underway. This is Tisdale. Out to the 25, and that's where Georgia Tech will start. A 10-yard return. Tackle was made by Andre Powell of Penn State. So Sean Jones comes on. He is a Heisman Trophy candidate. Tech always wants to expose the talents of Jones. 18-4-1 as a starter. And those losses came when he was very, very young. He's going to throw first play, and it's high, incomplete. It was intended for Bobby Rodriguez, and he should have had it.
Oh, boy, that was right in his hand. It was just a little curl in. He should have had that football.
Here are the offensive starters for Georgia Tech, brought to you by Gillette. Lincoln, we've talked about him. Michael Smith, a young guy out of Pensacola, Florida. They say he's got great talent. Goolsby Rodriguez and Tom Covington. Covington, the tight end. Up front, Mike Mooney. He is the leader. 321 pounds. Gold, Chubbs, Lewis, and Freeman across that front. Chubbs and Mooney, the only starters back from last year. Second down and 10. Covington switches sides. Here's Jones on the option. Pitches back to Lincoln. And Lincoln out to the 34-yard line, about 2 yards shy of the first. Mark D'Onofrio, the co-captain on defense, made the tackle. Emmett Merchant comes into the ball game as a wideout for Georgia Tech. Bobby Rodriguez comes back in as well. Jason McGill goes to the top of the screen with Greg Lester. Third down and 1. Lincoln right side, not going to get there. Greg Troxel, the nose tackle, got there first for Penn State. And he got a lot of help defensively. Let's take a look at that Penn State defensive talent. Ravati up front, Jim Dieter, and Ben Fatti. Those are the three. Derek Bana, Leonard Humphreys, and Darren Perry. Perry is the hero, or strong safety. Givens, a lot of talent. They wanted to make the big plays defensively in the games and not only in practice. McKenzie on the other side had 6 sacks last year. This is a high wobbling punt. And O.J. McDuffie has it at the 31-yard line. So a 35-yard punt, no return, and now we'll see Penn State's offense for the first time tonight.
And Tim, that first decision that you have to make, whether you want to receive the ball or whether you want to kick off and try and hold, has worked out for Penn State. They elected to defer to the second half, kicked off, held Georgia Tech, and they've got good field position.
A look at Tony Sacca, loves to pass, 10 touchdown passes last year, 9 interceptions. First down, Nittany Lions. Backside pressure. Incomplete. It was intended for Gary Collins. And Marco Coleman came with the pressure, and I think Saka was just trying to unload it.
He certainly was. When he turned around there, he was right in his face.
Here are the offensive starters for Penn State, brought to you by Gillette. Collins and Terry Smith. O.J. McDuffie, who was hurt last year, comes back. Golden is the experienced tight end. And Sam Gash is a tough son of a gun at fullback. Rucci, Sieber, Huntington, Gallagher, and Todd Berger up front. Second down and 10. Collins gains maybe a yard. That's it. Georgia Tech's defense has 8 starters back from the national championship defense, tackled that time by Coleman Rudolph, a name we'll call quite a bit tonight. There's Coleman Rudolph. He was named after Tonto Coleman, who was an old coach at Tech. Then comes Battle and Kimsey. Willie Clay on the corners, one of the co-captains. Curly Day and Eric Bellamy at free safety. Coleman Williams, Jarrell Williams, Eric Fry, and Ken Swilling. Ken Swilling, everybody's All-American. 3rd and 9, and here comes pressure on Saka. First sack of the night. Coleman Rudolph got there first. He had a lot of help from Kimsey as well.
Yeah, Kimsey was right in there. Kimsey looked as if no one blocked him. He's on the top of your screen. Watch him just burst through. 91. There he's into your picture. Forces Saka to turn up, and there's nobody around. No help up in there. Rudolph got great pressure.
So we have the first punt of the night from Penn State. This is Doug Hilkowski. He is a veteran. High spiraling punt. Jason McGill runs into his own man. Stopped at the 30. Tackle was made by Matt Gaggett. So Baggett makes the tackle. 47-yard punt, 4-yard return. 11:58 first quarter, and we've got no score. 11:58 to go in the first quarter. Tim Brandt, Dave Rowe with you at the Meadowlands. Both teams now have been able to work out. The Butterflies had the first hit. We'll see if they settle down. Georgia Tech in its first possession, 3 plays and out. And this is how Sean Jones feels about it. He wants to make the big play when they need it. Makes it here, and the catch is made by Bobby Rodriguez. There is a flag down, however. The officials tonight, Mac Gentry is the referee. A.C. Lambert, the umpire. And this will go against Georgia Tech.
Holding the offense.
So they'll call holding against Georgia Tech. And one of the new rules this year is they will penalize them from the spot. So the 10-yard penalty plus wherever he was caught holding.
Well, you see, it's about 2 yards off the line of scrimmage. So instead of being a 10-yard penalty, it's going to be a 12-yard penalty.
And that'll take him all the way to just about the 17-yard line. A little beyond. All the officials tonight out of the Southeastern Conference. Lester and Merchant go to the top of the screen. Lincoln and Smith both in the ball game as backs. The draw play with Lincoln, and there is absolutely nothing there.
Tim, that time Ben Fatty took an inside move, and he really fouled up the play. The play was designed to go inside. He looped inside and just disrupted the entire play. You may see Ben Fatty, 55, go inside. And there, you see the stutter step. He has to turn back out. There's no one there. McKenzie makes the tackle on the play.
Big old Rich McKenzie, 6'3", 235 pounds, out of Fort Lauderdale, Florida.
Well, Ben Fatty, when he lines up against Mike Mooney, he's given away 50 pounds.
Second down and 21. Sean Jones has some running room. And Jones steps out of bounds at the 30. So he gets back all the way to the original line of scrimmage. It'll bring up 3rd down and 10. Boy. Rodriguez threw a pretty good block.
Boy, that's the mark of a great run, a great receiver, that he's not only a great pass catcher, but when he gets a chance to throw the block, and you'll see him right in the middle of your screen, number 3. Now watch him peel back here. It's a great block right there. Well, I'll tell you, when they were used to run those films and a wide receiver got a block like that, I mean, they ran it back and forth and showed him many, many times.
That's because it's rare.
That's right.
3rd down and 10 for Georgia Tech.
He's over the sideline saying, "Did you see me block? Did you see me block on that play?"
Well, we're seeing one of the first mistakes made by a freshman. Jimmy Lincoln couldn't line up properly. Sean Jones tried to realign him, but the play clock was ticking away. And so Jones had to call timeout, and he'll talk things over with Bobby Ross. We'll be back.
What some people won't do for the most refreshing taste on earth. Always keep plenty of Coca-Cola Classic on ice. You never know who'll drop in.
Stepping out, hanging out, for extra comfort on the move. The underwear is fruit of the loom. Red, white.
For the extra comfort of ribbed cotton, the extra style of a trimmer fit, more men are switching to ribbed whites, only from Fruit of the Loom.
On the street, on the town, for extra comfort on the move. The underwear is fruit of the loom. Red, white.
Maybe the reason more people switch to Glidden than any other paint in the last 5 years is because we've got the color they're looking for. Glidden, a better way to paint. And during America's favorite paint sale, not only do we have the colors you're looking for, we've got the prices you're looking for. America's favorite paint sale on America's favorite paint. Glidden.
The Goodyear Blimp. The shots from the Spirit of Akron are brought to you by Goodyear Tires and Blimp Tour 91. The captain is Dick Esch from Barrington, Illinois. Spectacular. 3rd down and 10 for Tech at its own 30. Jones with a long count. 3-step drop and fires incomplete. It was intended for Brent Goolsby, but it was thrown way behind him. It looked as if they tried to use 2 receivers to clear out the area and threw underneath.
Yeah, they went to a triple right formation. 3 wide receivers on the right, running too deep, hoping the coverage goes with them and to catch that little underneath pass. Interesting, Sean Jones has elected to make fast, quick passes. I think he has a little bit of concern about that Penn State defensive rush. They get a lot of pressure on the quarterback quickly.
Bill Weaver gets a high punt, but it's short, and McDuffie will fair catch this at the 39 and drops it. He gets it back. So the Nittany Lions will have pretty good field position here.
Well, they really are. They're moving up 10 yards every time they hold Georgia Tech. They were on the 30 last drive. This time they started on the 40.
Penn State offensively is -5 in the yardage, total yardage category. College football is underway, and tomorrow night Raycom takes you out to California where Brigham Young takes on Florida State. It's the Pigskin Classic, the Disney Pigskin Classic out in Anaheim. 1st down Lions at the 39. Straight ahead, Gash breaks a tackle, bangs into a couple of more, and runs right into Marco Coleman and Kevin Battle.
Boy, Gash kept those feet moving. That's what got him the extra 2 or 3 yards that he was able to get. He got hit right on the line. Sign of good back is how many yards do you get after you make that contact, that initial contact? Do you keep those legs moving or do you just fall down?
He is a tough fullback. Played through a pinched nerve and an injured neck last year. Joe said he really needed time off, but he wouldn't take it. 2nd down and 6. Play clock down to 5, and Penn State jumps. Todd Berger, who's played both defense and offense, is playing right tackle, and it looked as if he came up early. Now, one of the main concerns coming into this ball game for Joe Paterno was that offensive line.
Yes, he had to replace several starters in that offensive line, and plus he had a couple people move. Huntington moved into center. You'll see Berger 67 on the right side of your screen. Watch him pop up. Well, actually, 2 of them popped up. Gallagher also 56 popped up.
His was reflex, I think. He saw Berger jump and he says, whoops.
Well, they teach defensive players to go on movement. Offensive players know the snap count.
It'll be 2nd down and 11 for Saka. Throws underneath, has it complete. This is Terry Smith with a nifty move, and all the way up to the 49. He'll be right near the first down markers. Run out of bounds by Marlon Williams and Curly Day, but depending on the mark, he'll be close.
All right, when Smith makes this little move inside, watch how quickly. It's just a curl at about 8 to 10 yards. Saka just throws a rope, bam, right to him. Now watch the move Smith does. Pulls right up, turns right back around, and picks up an additional 5-6 yards after he was hit. Fumbled, but of course the ball went out of bounds.
Penn State coaches will tell you that he is the most dangerous Penn State receiver with the ball after he catches it. 2 tight ends. 3rd down, and they need less than 1. Gash bangs his way. He's got it.
I'm going to tell you something. Gash had great leg strength again. We talked about how tough he is. He gets hit again on the line, almost turns sideways as he's going through the hole, but has that great leg drive. Watch how quickly he gets hit. It's going right off the center, right there. Now he runs into his own man. Now look, sideways, gets hit there. Look at the leg strength, that continual drive. That's the sign of a great running back. Also holding on to that football when everybody's ripping it out of there.
Curly Day, Ken Swilling make the tackle. And there's a Penn State player shaken up. Georgia Tech, correction. And that is Marlon Williams.
Williams just kind of gets pushed into the back and kind of bangs. Oh boy, he went head to head with his own man. And there's Gash again, just driving through there.
Marlon Williams is the outside linebacker. Great physical skills, but he is splitting time with Tom Johnson. So Johnson will now come back into the ball game, and as they administer help to Williams, they will replace him with Johnson. Bobby Ross, what a great job he's done. Turned around a 2-9 program into a national champion in 4 years. Homer Rice, the athletic director, stuck with him when he struggled those early years. The consensus 1990 National Coach of the Year, Bobby Ross. We'll be back. For New York. Actually, we're across the Hudson over in the Meadowlands. This is Giant Stadium. We're scoreless. The kickoff classic with 9:15 remaining first quarter. Penn State with the football. And for the first time, we've got a team in the other club's territory. Richie Anderson comes in now and replaces Gary Collins for the Nittany Lions. 1st down and 10. Sack it, a Gash. He's got a hole. Gash down to the 32-yard line. And there's going to be a flag for a late hit, and it will be against Penn State. That's the kind of thing that'll drive Joe Paterno nuts.
Oh boy, that'll make you be able to dissolve a nickel in your stomach when you get a penalty after the play. Look at the explosion through the hole by Gash. He breaks into the secondary. He's clear right now. You'll see coming into your picture Terry Smith right in the back end of it. Looked as if that was where the personal foul was. It was against Terry Smith for blocking downfield.
You know, they say that at Penn State a fullback is a guard who lines up 4 yards deep. But I think what happens here now, the Nittany Lions lost their 2 running backs last year, Leroy Thompson and Gary Thompson. They're having a tough time getting the tailbacks going early in this game, and Gash was hot, so they went with the instant heat.
Well, you know, if you're Tony Saka, you're standing out there saying, now listen, coach, don't get conservative on me. Let me keep on throwing this football. But now Joe Paterno, when he gets down in that 4-down territory, when he gets in the opponent's territory, he wants to get a little bit conservative, run that football.
1st and 25. Saka throws, and this is Anderson. Richie Anderson, the junior out of Sandy Spring, Maryland, takes it back to the 37-yard line. He was redshirted last year.
Saka's pass was complete to Richie Anderson.
This telecast is a copyrighted presentation of Raycom Incorporated and is intended solely for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast, retransmission, or other use of the video or audio portions of this program without the express prior written consent of Raycom Inc. is forbidden. Saka now 2 for 3, 21 yards. Gash 3 carries, 23 yards. 2nd down and 16. Here comes pressure. Sackett did all he could just to hold on to the ball because Marco Coleman reached in and had his right arm.
I'll tell you, Tim, the sign of a linebacker, the sign of greatness in a linebacker is leverage, not letting anyone knock you down. Don't get knocked off your feet. Coleman that time had someone dive at his feet. He used those long arms, that leverage to keep him away from his body, stepped right around and was right on top of Sackett.
The report on Marlon Williams, who left before that last commercial break, is that he injured his ankle. They're going to tape him up and see if he can go. Meanwhile, it's 3rd down and 17 for the Nittany Lions. Sackett goes deep, has McDuffie, and he can't hold on. O.J. McDuffie missed last year with a knee injury. Got hurt in the first game against Texas, so he's making his comeback tonight. Had that ball on his fingertips.
Boy, he did have it on his fingertips. Now, if you're the quarterback, you go back and you say the ball was there. McDuffie was just a 1/10 of a second from it. Watch McDuffie stretch out. He almost brings this ball in. That's what you want your quarterback to do, to lead that ball well in there, throw the ball with accuracy, and have a lot of confidence.
So it brings up 4th and 17, and Helkowski has to punt. He'll try to pooch it inside the 10, hits at the 6, and is down at the 6. Great coverage by the Penn State special teams. Darren Perry got down there. He's the hero backer. And Helkowski has his first pooch punt inside the 10 this year. A 32-yard punt, but there's no return, and Georgia Tech is backed up.
Did you know that when Alexander Graham Bell was about to invent the telephone, he stopped work because he ran out of money? Today at AT&T, we understand how important money is to a small business. So we developed AT&T Pro Watts, our discount calling plan that gives you AT&T quality at extremely competitive prices. At AT&T, almost half our business comes from small business. When you succeed, we succeed.
It's Sears Labor Day paint sale, and your chance to save $3 a gallon on 2 Weatherbeater exterior paints. Weatherbeater Premium Satin or Flat Finish. Sale ends Saturday, September 7th at Sears.
No better way to face the day.
The morning belongs to Speed Stick. It's what more men reach for, to prepare, to prevent, to protect. Speed Stick.
No better way to face the day. Find it.
In today's financial climate, you need the strength and stability of the Buffalo. At Hennessy and Bull.
Still going. Nothing outlasts the Energizer. They keep going and going and...
U.S. Air begins with you. And for Penn State and Georgia Tech, the quest for the national championship begins tonight. U.S. Air, proud to have been selected to assist with travel for the Kickoff Classic.
Boy, big series here for Georgia Tech. Inside the 10-yard line, you don't want to make a mistake. I think right away, I think of those inexperienced running backs.
First down Tech, they run a quarterback draw. Jones gets out to the 8, maybe the 9. Reggie Gibbons, the outside linebacker, came up and made the tackle.
What a move by Jones that time. He was stuffed in the backfield. Normally he would have gone down. Watch the defender right in his nose. It's Dieter. 72, I think it is. No, 95, excuse me. 95 right in his nose. He just stays around, just comes right around and picks up a couple yards.
That's what they call those fast twitch muscle fibers.
That is the truth. Quick feet, they call them. I never had them.
Second down and 8. The ball at the 9. Lincoln tries to cut back and gets to the 10. There's a flag down. But again, the outside linebackers make some pretty good penetration and pinch the outside, and Andre Powell made the tackle.
Big decision here for Penn State. Do you take them back and let them have another down, or do you bring up third down? That's an illegal shift sign.
Never came to a halt. penalty is declined. It'll be a
Declined.
third down.
That's the smart thing to do. You've got a third down. They're inside the 10-yard line. You know you're going to get great field position if you hold them. And when you have a player like Sean Jones and you're standing over there on defense, you don't give him extra chances.
Now, Benfatti and Dieter came out of the ball game for Penn State. Mark Fleith comes in along with Greg Troxel at nose tackle. Third down and 7. The ball at the 10 for Georgia Tech. The Yellow Jackets spread the field. 4 receivers. They go down the middle and have it complete. Ball's loose. And now a late signal. They say incomplete. Well, the back judge was there, and he was following the ball like it was a fumble. Then the side judge came in and said, no, incomplete. It was intended for Jimmy Lincoln.
How many times coaches will yell at you, put your hat on the ball, tackle the ball, get your helmet in there. That's exactly what Penn State does on this play. Excellent pass. He's wide open, but watch the hat on the ball. Boom, knocked it out.
Bill Weaver's punt again is short, and this one is dropped. And recovered by O.J. McDuffie at the 46-yard line. Terry Smith fumbled the ball. Sean Jones now for Georgia Tech, 0 for 3.
Well, Penn State is certainly winning the battle of field position. They've had the ball at midfield. Their deepest drive has started at the 30, the 40. Now they're starting in Georgia Tech's territory.
Gash and Anderson behind Sacco. First down and 10 at the 46. Anderson with a quick move. Hit by Eric Fry. Penn State's last possession, they gained 43 yards. Got into Georgia Tech territory, but they lost 21 on penalties.
Well, when's the last time you saw a scoring opportunity missed because of a personal foul on Penn State? Joe Paterno does not tolerate mistakes, and that was a costly one because they were really in scoring position.
I want to remind you to stay tuned to the end of tonight's Kickoff Classic when Dave and I will be selecting the Oldsmobile Player of the Game. 4:53 remaining in the first quarter at the Meadowlands. Second down and 8 for Penn State. No score. Sacca this time with plenty of time. Throws underneath to his fullback Gash, and he's hit immediately. Good coverage by Tommy Johnson.
Well, the one time that Sacca has a lot of time to sit back there and play, he only had 2 people out on the pattern. Had maximum protection back there, and the 2 people didn't get open. Big down for Sacca. He needs a confidence builder here. He needs to complete a pass for a first down.
He's only 2 of 5 for 21 yards. And it'll be third down. They need 8. Anderson's open. Now they pick him up. He goes underneath to Smith. Smith at the 30. Gets a block. Smith to the 18.
Well, you see Sacca sit calmly back in the pocket there. He finds Smith on a crossing pattern. Well, I'll tell you one thing. Smith is elusive when he gets out here in the wide open field. Tries to cut all the way back. Very, very elusive back. But that's what Sacca needed to respond to this situation. He needed that pick up that big first down play to gain his confidence. Interesting, Joe Paterno saying, hey, we'll throw the ball a little bit more this year, perhaps.
That makes Tony Sacca happy. Gain of 25. First down and 10 at the 18. Anderson straight ahead to the 14. Sacca threw for over 1,800 yards last year, but hit only 49% of his passes. 10 touchdowns, 9 interceptions. His big game was against Notre Dame in the Lions' 24-21 win. He had 277 yards and 3 touchdowns. Second down and 6. Anderson, right side, ball's on the ground. And Sacca recovers it at the 10.
When you are a quarterback, you have got to think all the time. Sacca follows the play out, sees the fumble. The ball is clearly fumbled out there. and has the forethought to come up and get it. That's a heads-up play.
Third time Penn State's put the ball on the ground tonight, have yet to lose one.
Now watch the ball get ripped out right here. Now there it comes out clear. You'll see Saka come in there, number 19. Heads-up play. May save a score here.
Gary Collins comes running on the field late as the tailback. Anderson comes out. Third down, they only need one. This is Collins. Should have the first. He's close.
I want to tell you, if he makes this, Collins makes it all on his own, because he made a tremendous cutback. One of the offensive players of Penn State really got stuffed on the line, and Collins had to make a great adjustment backside away from the play to pick up the first down.
Well, the defending national champions will be tested here. First down, Penn State. That is the fourth first down of the game for the Nittany Lions. Georgia Tech has yet to get one. First and goal at the 7. Two tight ends. Collins, and he'll lose yardage. Jarrell Williams, the leading tackler, got there first.
You know, Tim, we've talked a lot about Penn State's defense. Georgia Tech has just an outstanding defense, and you don't run delay plays. This is a delay. Watch how long the play takes to develop. They almost catch him from the backside. You don't do that against great football teams unless they over pursue. But Georgia Tech is so well coached, they react just as well as you can.
That's a pretty good tackle for that man, an electrical engineer. Great student, underrated linebacker. Second down and goal now from the 9. Saka throws to the corner, and it's almost picked off. Oh, Tommy Johnson, who came in for the injured Marlon Williams, has had a couple of spectacular plays.
And another huge down for Penn State. Third down. It's going to be about third down and 10 yards to go. You always have the ever-looming new field goal strategy to combat all the time, because field goals the posts are so much more narrow.
You're saying they may want to position it to the middle of the field.
Absolutely.
They've closed the college uprights 5 yards. Now this penalty should go against Saka. He started to pull out, didn't have the ball, and Tech came across.
Well, it's dependent upon voice inflection. Saka came up there, changed the snap sound, probably gave him one of those real loud goes, and it drew the defensive lineman offside.
Offside, defense, there was contact.
How about that?
Now let's see, in fact, if Saka did pull out. Let's take a peek at him. There's Saka. Now see the emphasis right there?
That's got to be on the offense. That's got to be on the offense. Bad call.
Well, if he steps out of there, you can't do anything to draw the defense off. You're right, he did take a step back.
Not only that, but Huntington, his center, did as well. So Penn State gets a break. It'll be third down and goal at the 4.
Boy, wouldn't this be a difficult field goal with the narrow goalpost? If they don't make it, run it to the field side. They've got quite an angle to try and make.
Thomas, Smith, and McDuffie go to the top of the screen. Saka looks that way, throws over the middle. Touchdown, Penn State. Terry Smith. Greg Fagg for the extra point, and it's good.
Tim, two huge things on this play. Saka has the sight, the vision back to the weak side, because Marco Coleman was coming right down his throat. Watch to the left of your screen, number 95, coming right down Saka's throat. Look at him right there. Gets knocked down, but gets right back up. And Saka somehow sees Smith coming across, and Smith looks the ball all the way in. I bet it wasn't 6 inches off the ground when he got his hands underneath it.
First touchdown of the year in college football. Tony Saka to Terry Smith. The drive went 9 plays, 46 yards, and took only 4 minutes and 7 seconds. Now the big play has to be the third down penalty against Georgia Tech when it was Penn State that drew them off.
Absolutely. That's a big play. Huge play. And as you called it, Saka did back out of there, but the referees saw it that the defense jumped off sides.
Tony Saka 4 for 8, 51 yards and a touchdown. Terry Smith with 3 catches, 41 yards now. So that's a good combo early. Craig Fayak positioning the ball. We'll get ready to kick off. And Kevin Tisdale is deep for Georgia Tech. Tisdale's a great story. He was a walk-on, had a big game against Clemson, and then got upset one day. And Bobby Ross said, "Why are you upset?" He says, "Because the team's going to Duke, and I'm not on the traveling list." Bobby says, "That's a mistake. Bobby had put up the wrong traveling list." They go to Duke. Tisdale has a big return, wins the Duke game near the end, and Bobby Ross gave him a scholarship right after that game. He is dangerous. High short kick. Here comes Tisdale. All the way out to the 35-yard line. 21-yard return. And the tackle was made by Andre Powell.
Now, let me tell you, this is another big series, but because it's big because John Jones needs to right now get some confidence about his play. He's had several drop passes. He's had a couple penalties. He just hasn't had anything really go smooth for him. Needs to get in there, take control of that center, take control of that huddle right in there, and come up and throw some completions.
As expected, Jones is the marked man by the Penn State defense, but the Yellow Jackets need to be unpredictable, and they have not been thus far. First down and 10 at the 35. Jones pumps, goes deep, and overthrows a wide-open receiver. It was Bobby Rodriguez. And I mean, he was open.
Boy, that was the old out and up play, and Rodriguez gave a great fake on the out. Even got a little pump by Jones and then took off, and Jones needed to lay that ball up with a little bit more touch.
Yellow Jackets right now not in sync. It's been 3 plays and out, all 3 offensive series for him.
That's why I say that Sean Jones needs to get a little bit more composure about his play. He needs to get a couple first downs, get a drive going. They get a little bit of confidence to some of these younger offensive players.
Timmy Johnson in the game at tailback now. Jones throws this one. Rodriguez has it at the 42-yard line. Rodriguez last year, the second leading receiver, 28 receptions. They call him instant heat. He is a game breaker. I think he's still thinking about that last one when he was wide open and saw the scoreboard lighten up before he got it.
Now here's where that inexperience in that running back situation really comes into play. Normally with the offensive line that Tech has, you're thinking run or pass. Now with that inexperience back there, you almost have to think pass.
Third down, they need 3. Flags fly everywhere.
I think it was offsides. I think John Lewis jumped offsides. I saw a little flinch by one of the guards.
Bobby Ross 0-4 against Joe Paterno. Most of those came while he was at the University of Maryland, but they were all close.
Boy, you know, yesterday in the press conference, interesting, Bobby Ross could tell you the exact scores of each time he had lost to Joe Paterno.
Well, a couple of those losses, he actually went for 2 to win it and came up short.
And they never faulted him for that, did they?
Oh, absolutely not. Third down and 8 now. The ball at the 37. So far, the Yellow Jackets hurting themselves. Jones across the middle. And Greg Lester makes the catch at the 47-yard line. Should be enough for the first. And that'll be their first down of the game for the Yellow Jackets.
And you can see Sean Jones going around there just juicing up his team, smacking them on the helmets.
And that will be the end of the first quarter. I don't think the officials have seen the clock.
Doesn't somebody supposed to shoot a gun or something at the end of the quarter?
Georgia Tech already broke the huddle and lined up, and now they stop it. So 15 minutes have passed, and we'll line up and reset the clock for another 15. It's Penn State 7, Georgia Tech nothing. We'll return after these messages from your local station. This is the Raycom Network.
Ben, we got the okay for those extra parts.
Can we get them in time?
Brian Murphy now.
I'm not in right now, but if you leave a
Must have left. Hey, what about Brooks?
Why not? He's been pitching us for months.
Even when you're out, you don't have to be out of touch.
Brooks? Yeah, Kogan here. Glad you're still at the office.
More like my second office.
What?
No, I had my calls forwarded.
Just being reachable helps build relationships that build business. Any business. To stay on top, stay in touch.
Clyde's is overstocked. Our warehouse is bursting at the seams. Our controller says,
mark them down, cut the price, move them out now.
This rugged tweed carpet's marked down, $2.99. Stainmaster carpets, marked down, $6.88. This whole group of better carpets, marked down, $6. Padding, marked down. It's absolutely free. That's right. Right now, this week, a huge selection of carpet is marked down sale price. So don't wait. Get here now for the very best selection. Hurry. Clyde's is open Friday and Saturday till 9 p.m.
Where's Chester Boot Shop? Where's Chester Boot Shop? Where's Chester Boot Shop? I need boots. Where is Chester Boot Shop? There it is.
Chester Boot Shop carries the largest selection of boots in the area, from motorcycle boots, Western-style boots, snakeskin boots, to work boots. All at prices for everyone. At Chester Boot Shop, we can fit anyone. Chester Boot Shop, 11.5 Mile and Gratiot in Roseville. Phone 779-6103.
The best deals on cars at Northwestern Dodge. The best deals on trucks at Northwestern Dodge. The best deals on vans and minivans at Northwestern Dodge. Just listen to this. Northwestern Dodge wants to be your van conversion headquarters. 5 acres of vehicles to choose from. See Northwestern Dodge for the best deal in town. Look for the big flag on 8 Mile between Livernois and Coolidge. Northwestern Dodge, celebrating its 25th anniversary, serving Detroit and the northern suburbs. Northwestern Dodge, customer satisfaction is our goal.
College football game of the year. On first down, Jones has time and goes deep and overthrown. Again, it was intended for Bobby Rodriguez. Darren Perry was out there trying to chase him down, but it was overthrown.
It's almost a keep them honest play. Don't let those defensive backs start creeping up and covering short. You throw it long one time, loosen them up a little bit.
I can guarantee you this. Sean Jones is struggling right now, but he will have some big plays in this game.
What a talent. Bobby Ross said one quick quote. He said he may be the best overall quarterback. Not the greatest arm, not the greatest speed, but the best overall quarterback.
I think a great indicator of that is he's 18-4-1 as a starter. Second down, they need 10 straight ahead. What a lick in the middle. Andre Powell and Mark D'Onofrio made the tackle.
You know, it's amazing as I look at D'Onofrio, look at him there, number 38. He said, I grew up playing on rocks and dirt. He said, I learned as a linebacker you never fall down. He is a very, very intense player. Sometimes gets in a lot of problems with Joe Paterno because he has that little ability to almost like he's taunting an offensive player when he tackles him.
And that's definitely a no-no in Joe Paterno's camp. Third down and 10, the ball at the 47. Jones has some pressure. Now sets up and throws over the middle. Incomplete. It was intended for Greg Lister, and Leonard Humphreys got his hand on it and tipped it. Up for grabs and fell harmlessly to the ground, but Andre Powell had a shot at it.
You'll see Humphreys here. He's number 6. Watch how long that ball stays up in the air once he hits it. It's right over the middle there. He steps in front, and watch, he's going to put his hand up, knock the ball. Good reaction right there on the right of your screen.
Billy Weaver has an end-over-end punt, and McDuffie will fair catch it at the 15. So O.J. McDuffie with the fair catch, and now Penn State will be backed up. A 38-yard punt. It's still 7-0 Nittany Lions with 13:58 remaining in the first half.
Three years ago, we set out to create a sports sedan. But first and foremost, we set out to create a Lexus. Introducing the Lexus ES300 Sports Sedan.
promised me something really special for my birthday. A whole weekend in the great outdoors. Without me.
Here's to the great outdoors, men who understand, and comfortable blue jeans. Wrangler.
That's life.
You little monkey face, you.
Dad, you didn't look so hot yourself a few months ago.
When the medical crisis is gone, the bills should be too. Aflac supplemental insurance helps close the gaps in your health insurance, like deductibles, co-payments. Aflac lets you get on with your life.
Grandpa came through a lot to see you.
She's my girl.
Life supplies the surprises. Aflac supplies the peace of mind.
The only score thus far, Tony Sacca hit Terry Smith with a 4-yard touchdown pass, and the Nittany Lions lead 7-0. Coming up December 28th, we want to tell you right now, way ahead of things, that America's newest bowl game, the blockbuster Bowl 2, newest postseason bowl tradition. Last year was Penn State, Florida State. We had the privilege of being there. Pretty good ball game last year. And turn in this year for another great matchup. The blockbuster Bowl 2 coming this December. The reverse to McDuffie. And O.J. McDuffie is out to the 28-yard line. Jarrell Williams finally makes the tackle. But how about Joe Paterno getting a little tricky early on?
Certainly did a reverse. He's thinking that Georgia Tech team is reacting so quickly. You see McDuffie come around there, pick up the big block by Paul Seaver. 76 says, hey, I'm cutting it upfield. Just puts that head down and picks up a ton of yardage. Gets him really out of that trouble spot that they were in.
Gain of 19. It'll give him first down and 10 at the 28.
This may be the new Joe Paterno offense. I've never seen him pass so much or have been tricky plays.
1 second on the play clock. There's 0 on it now, but I think Sacca got the timeout in time. Smart play by Tony Sacca. So he avoids a penalty there for the Nittany Lions. 13-20 still remaining in the second quarter. We'll be back right after this. Blimp. The shots from the Spirit of Akron tonight are brought to you by the Goodyear Tires and Blimp Tour 91. The captain is Dick Esch from Barrington, Illinois. And look at this shot.
Now, if you're a coach, you'd love that shot. It's just like you're drawing it on a chalkboard.
And if you were scared of heights, you wouldn't. Tony Sacca 4 for 8, 1 touchdown, 50 yards. He's faced with first down and 10 at his own 29. Steps up, drills it again at Smith. And Smith is taken down in a hurry. You know, wide receiver David Daniels, I think, surprised a lot of folks by going out early to the NFL. But McDuffie comes back from injury, and Terry Smith, who played last year and is a co-captain, and there's no question that they're just as sharp as ever.
Well, they really got hurt last year when McDuffie got hurt early. He got hurt in that Texas game, and he was awarded a redshirt year because of that. They have an excellent rapport out there receiving the ball. They're all small, but they're all quick and elusive.
Terry Smith's dad played basketball at Penn State. Second down and 7 at the 32. Anderson is hit immediately. Marco Coleman came through and got there first. And he got some help from his friends.
Boy, and what a comment about Marco Coleman. They're comparing him to Lawrence Taylor.
Well, both are out of the Atlantic Coast Conference. I think that's where the comparison is.
I don't care what conference he's out of. That's quite a comparison.
Well, when LT was at UNC, everybody knew he was an outstanding player, but I don't think anybody could foresee how great he would be. Marco Coleman's not bad. They call him the heat seeker. Definite All-American. Third down, they need 8. Over the middle, they go to McDuffie. He's got the first down. O.J. McDuffie.
Boy, what a pressure there by Coleman again. He just bursts up the middle. Just seems to find a seam, and watch how close he is to get tackling. There he is, 95, just takes an inside drop. Lineman doesn't get him, and he hits Sacca just as he gets rid of the ball. Just a little short curl-in pattern right there, and he just gets that head down. Smart move right there. Know how many yards you need for that first down. He dives, and he gets it.
McDuffie out of Warrensville Heights, Ohio. It'll be first down at the 40. Sacca's hit 4 of his last 5. Now he's hot. Straight ahead they go to Gash, and Gash carries, tackles out near midfield. How about Sam Gash?
You want to see a nice move. Watch Sam Gash as he comes through the line. He almost tiptoes through the line. Has to make an adjustment right there. He makes that adjustment, gets through the line, and look at it again. We talked about the leg strength. His legs never stop that churning, and he carries a defensive player for about the last 4 or 5 yards.
That was big old Coleman Rudolph, too. He's 6'4", 270. Second down, they need one, so they give it back to Gash, and he has the first down and then some. Looks like Norm Bulash coming through there.
Well, he does. It's because of that leg drive, that just continuation. He almost came out of that and broke it.
It'll be first down and 10 at the 46. Saka steps up, throws deep to McDuffie, and it goes off his fingertips. He was tiptoeing down the sideline anyway.
Well, when you run that sideline pattern, you have to be very aware of that sideline, where it exactly is. McDuffie, in the effort to try to concentrate on keeping his feet in bounds, just took his eyes off the ball. First of all, you got to catch it. Then you got to keep those feet in bounds.
Spoken like a coach. Of course, when you talk to Joe Paterno, he highlights the loss of McDuffie as one of the major setbacks last year. Penn State with those 3 losses, all touchdown or less. Second down and 10. I can't remember seeing Penn State throw the football as much as they are tonight.
I can't either. I think maybe Joe Paterno's getting old because he really is throwing the ball a lot more than what he normally does. Penn State is known as a grinded-out team. It was interesting. He had a quote. He said, you know, he said, I really like Tony Saka. He said, I like him. And Tony Saka speaks his mind. I just don't like what he says about passing the ball.
Now, the other side, Saka says, I like to pass. Joe doesn't. Unfortunately, Joe calls the shots. Saka now 6 for 12. I can remember Penn State in the old days where they wouldn't throw 12 times the entire game. We still have 10:21 to go in the first half. Anderson with a good move on 3rd and 10, and another first down for the Nittany Lions. Richie Anderson. Eric Bellamy, the free safety, had to come up and make the tackle.
That's a play that the pass sets up, and that's that sprint draw where you just kind of slide on back there, give your lineman a chance to turn them out. Everybody's thinking thinking pass. They turn them out, and it opens that big hole. You know, they used to say that it took Joe Paterno 3 hours to drive from Harrisburg to Penn State. It's only 80 miles, but they said it took him 3 hours because he'd never pass.
First down and 10 at the 33. Terry Smith in the reverse again. Got a blocker out front. With a nice play on the corner by Willie Clay. And there's a flag way on the other side of the field.
Willie Clay and Marco Coleman on the stop.
You know what I think? I believe that Georgia Tech might have lined up in the neutral zone. They looked like they were, yeah, that's what the call is going to be. Boy, that just continues to hurt Georgia Tech. They stopped him on a great reaction play there by the backside to stop that reverse, and now they're going to give him first down and 5.
You know what jumps out at me early in the ball game here? Everybody talked about the returning stars coming back from a very solid Penn State team of last year, and yet the guys that have stood out thus far, O.J. McDuffie, who was hurt last year, and Richie Anderson's having a fine game, and he was redshirted last year, not to mention Gary Collins.
You know, one interest of note, I was in the locker room. You walked in the locker room at Georgia Tech. Boy, I want to tell you, they were like a banjo chord. They were tight before the game. Penn State was a little bit more relaxed.
They had a look at Kevin Battle on the bench. He's the starting nose tackle on that Georgia Tech defense. Had his ankle in ice. Underneath they go to Anderson on the screen pass. Inside the 20 to the 19-yard line. Richie Anderson.
What a great play selection that Tony Saka is doing there. He's mixing up his plays very well. This is a screen. You see Anderson there just kind of slip out to the outside, turns around. Now he has to get the handle on the ball, makes a good decision, picks up that first down.
Penn State dominating offensively thus far. 9 first downs. Georgia Tech has only 1. On first down, this is Collins. Collins breaks the tackle and picks up 3. He was stopped dead to rights in the backfield by Eric Fry and just kind of slipped the tackle and moved on.
Now, one thing you don't want to miss out here is a scoring opportunity. As Saka gives the ball off here, again, you're right. He was just swallowed right there. But he breaks free. Look there. Good concentration. Down against those big guys. But you don't want to miss out on this scoring opportunity. You're inside the 20-yard line. You've driven the ball a long way. You've controlled the clock. You've got to come away with points when you get in this situation.
Penn State needs 9. They throw underneath to McDuffie inside the 10 to the 9. He's got the first down. O.J. McDuffie. Boy, Tony Saka's feeling it now.
How many times have we said about a receiver that you have to know exactly how many yards you have to get? Saka throws just a strike right to McDuffie on this play, but the McDuffie comes when he turns and looks downfield, he knows he has to get inside the 10-yard line. Watch him right here. I got to get inside that 10-yard line. Just put your head down, protect the ball, and try to pick up that first down, and he does. Said his grandmom named him O.J., like O.J. Simpson. He is an Otis James McDuffie.
7-0 Penn State. They've got first and goal at the 9. Straight ahead goes Sam Gash, and he's not going to get much.
Gash carry.
Kyle Brady comes into the ball game as a tight end. And Al Golden will come out. How about this now? Kyle Brady, who just came in, is just a sophomore. He's 6'6", 251 pounds, and the coaches say he can be one of the best tight ends ever.
Big off the line, big target.
There have been some great ones. Play action for Saka, looks into the end zone. Incomplete. It was intended for Brady. If a coach says that and I'm on the opposite side of the ball, I'm going to be looking for him right now. Came in and they threw to him and he couldn't hold on. So it'll be third and goal at the 9.
Boy, that's a stat that really tells the story. 16 minutes to 6 minutes. Time of possession.
A lot of times that statistic is misleading. In this case, it's not. Saka throws to the corner to Terry Smith. Touchdown, Nittany Lions. Craig Fayak for the extra point. And it's no good. There is a case where the new uprights closed in 5 more feet than they were last year, and Fayak misses the PAT.
Watch this play. You're going to see Terry Smith. He's going to be on the right of your screen. Look at the pressure in Saka right there. Not much pressure. Has the time to stand in there. He just lays it out. Now look at how far away Terry Smith is from the defender. What he does is he makes that tremendous cut. Here he is. Now watch. Fake inside right there. Plant and come back outside. Turns the defender all the way around. The defender is lost.
15 plays, 85 yards, just over 7 minutes, and it's 13-0 Penn State. It's up on top of Georgia Tech now, 13-0. Fayak mixed the extra point, but Saka has been sharp. Terry Smith has been outstanding, and so far it's been all Nittany Lions. Craig Fayak will prepare to kick off, and Kevin Tisdale is deep for the Yellow Jackets. Right now, Georgia Tech needs a spark. They need something big. Tisdale at the 2. Tisdale is hit at the 16-yard line, and Penn State has been relentless.
Look at that scoring drive. 15 plays, 85 yards, time of possession, 7 minutes. That's a marvelous drive.
Saka 9 for 16, 88 yards, 2 touchdowns. Terry Smith 5 catches, 51 yards. He too was the recipient of those 2 touchdown scores. First down and 10 at the 17. You made an interesting point about time of possession. I want to get to that in just a second. This is Michael Smith with nowhere to run. Mark D'Onofrio with the tackle. Now, I mentioned that this statistic can be very misleading, the time of possession, because you can have a team that scores quickly and it doesn't have the time of possession but could be winning big. In this case, it's indicative, and I'll tell you why that's going to be a factor. Because the Georgia Tech defense has been on the field for 16 minutes and 37 seconds. It's 90 degrees almost in this arena. By the 4th quarter, fatigue will definitely be a factor. Second down and 8. Jones has to throw, does, to his big tight end Anthony Rice. And Rice is out to the 24-yard line.
Boy, Rice is lucky he didn't get a penalty there. He threw the ball at a Penn State player. He didn't like the way he was tackled.
You know, one of the points of emphasis this year for the officials will be sportsman-like conduct.
Well, watch this play. You'll see Rice as he goes out. Skuganis the tackles him, 42. And the tail end of this play, Rice takes the ball and throws it at the Penn State player. He just didn't like the way he was tackled, and he got up and he threw the ball at him.
Well, wait a minute now. Gogo's not innocent there. He had him by the helmet and threw him down.
You're right.
Now, the officials are told to throw the flag quickly if there's any kind of taunting or unsportsmanlike conduct. And what really made that a point of emphasis this year was last year's Cotton Bowl, where Miami had an unbelievable 266 yards of penalties. That was embarrassing. Third down and 3 for Georgia Tech. This is Jones. Around the corner, and Jones is out to the 39-yard line. Sean Jones picks up the first down and then some, and is knocked out by Reggie Gibbons.
Jones has that great foot speed to come down the line. He has to read this toss. Now, good fake into the line there. Carry it in. Now come right down here, and he just picks up this by himself. You know, great players have that tendency to just take control of the football game. And it looks as if Jones is just saying, hey, we need that spark. We just need something to get going, and I'll just do it myself.
Well, if you can believe this, that's the first rushing first down for Georgia Tech tonight. Ball's on the ground. Smith gets it back and spins up for a gain of 2. At halftime, Joe Paterno will be receiving a special 25th anniversary diamond from Fortendorf, a leading New York retailer, so stay tuned for that. You made the presentation, and it was gorgeous.
Oh, it certainly was. Beautiful.
Second down and 8, the ball at the 41 for Georgia Tech. Jones with play action tries to get to the corner and has it complete to Greg Lester. And it'll be another first down. Jones now finding his rhythm.
This is a confidence builder. This is an immense confidence builder. Lester just runs an out pattern, runs a defensive back deep, and then just turns out, and he has a perfect strike from Jones. Right on the sideline. That's the confidence booster that Sean Jones needed.
Gain of 15. Greg Lester is a redshirt senior. He's the last player signed by former coach at Georgia Tech, Bill Curry. On first down, they run it. Off tackle on the power play with Jimmy Lincoln. You know, Jimmy Lincoln's not 100%.
No, he sprained his ankle early in the week, and they did say he was at 100%. But I'll tell you this, you don't recover quickly from sprained ankles, especially when you're a running back, because that leg strength is all dependent upon your stability in your ankle.
They say he reminds a lot of people of former Tech star Jerry Mays, but Lincoln goes out, Stiegel goes out. Michael Smith is the lone setback. 2 tight end formation on second down and 8. Jones breaks the tackle, gets a block, and tiptoes out to the 40, 35-yard line. Mark D'Onofrio trips him up, but he'll be close to another first down, about a yard shy.
This is D'Onofrio. Boy, he's that leader there. Now, he has to fight across the block here. Tell you, fight across the face. He gets back, comes back into the play. A lot of range on these linebackers for Penn State. They roam the field very, very well. Never get knocked down.
Looks as if Jones has put it into another gear. Step forward now. He has 4 carries, 37 yards. Third down, they need 1. Play action. Up top, incomplete. It was intended for Ken Swilling. The safety came into the ball game to play offense.
Now, if I'm a defensive player and I look at this play, I'm thinking run all the way. Third down, 1 yard. And he did. He faked into the line, brought it back out, tried to look and find Swilling down the sideline.
Now, how about this? It was 4th down. Georgia Tech needs a yard. They kept Swilling in the ball game. They're going to go for it. Swilling, 6'3", 228-pound senior, All-American safety. Now playing tailback. This is Swilling. He's not going to get there. Go Gaines and Gibbons. Came up and said, "How do you do, Mr. Swilling?"
Let me tell you what makes this play is the force from the corner. Watch right here. Look at the force right there. You got him off his stride. There you see Gaines is in there. Boom. You just got a half a dozen. Gibbons makes that tackle also. Look how many white shirts are around him. Great reaction by Penn State.
And I mean, Gibbons had his cavities and fillings shaken on that one. We'll return after these messages from your local station. This is the Raycom Network. 3 minutes, 4 seconds remain in the half in East Rutherford. And it's Penn State 13, Georgia Tech nothing. Tony Sacca, 2 touchdown passes to Terry Smith. Georgia Tech has just been stopped on 4th and 1. Ken Swilling, the safety, played tailback. Penn State, 1st down and 10. This is Sacca. And Sacca goes down. Pressure came from Brian Baxter, the nose tackle, who's in for Kevin Battle, who's shaken up.
Well, that was going to be a fly pattern. They were throwing that ball a long way. Sacca just couldn't pick up. Great coverage by Georgia Tech on the play. But look at the time he has here. He's thinking about going long. Good effort there by Georgia Tech to finally get to him. But great coverage. That's a defensive secondary sack.
Baxter, who made that play, weighed 255 pounds last year. He's re-sculptured his body totally. He's now 6'4", 280. 2nd down and 20. This is Gash. Gash gets back to the 33-yard line. But getting back to Brian Baxter, he's had to come in and replace Battle, who went out with an injury. And he doesn't have that much background, that much experience. He's a redshirt sophomore, and in high school played 8-man football, so he wasn't heavily recruited. Nice story. Sam Gash now 7 carries, 55 yards. All last year he only had 315 yards. 3rd and 13. Underneath they go again. The Georgia Tech defense with great pressure, and Sacca has to unload it. Coleman, Rudolph, and Kimsey all came clean. Here's the storyline thus far in tonight's Kickoff Classic, brought to you by Napa. And the story very simply has been Sacca to Smith, 2 touchdowns.
And of course, that 10-minute possession time advantage to Penn State. Georgia Tech only 88 yards offense. Just as they start to get something going, it just seems to fall apart. They need a lot more continuity on offense.
Well, we'll see how that time of possession affects the Georgia Tech defense later on. This is Helkowski on the punt. Georgia Tech had everybody loaded up front. Jason McGill takes it on the 19 and gets a crushing block. He's got room. Another block. McGill at the 35, and there's a flag down. There is a flag. I'll tell you this, if there was a clip, it wasn't on the 2 crushing blocks that we saw.
Absolutely not. He picked up a tremendous wall around the left side. There's the call. It is a clipping. The flag is sitting on about the 42-yard line. It's way away from where he caught the ball, and it's on the opposite side of the field from which he ran.
All right, it was a 48-yard punt, a 44-yard return. But it'll be called back.
That's a good block right there. Now the penalty is over on the right side of your screen. We're not going to get to see it, but this is a good block. That's a good block right there. Head in front. Every coach will teach you that. There's another good block there. There's no clip there. The flag is already thrown on the opposite side of the field. There's another good block.
That one is questionable. Again, new rule. They'll mark it off from the spot of the foul. We'll be back. Spectacular moon over East Rutherford. Penn State leads 13-0. Big penalty as we went to commercial. Clipping call nullifies a great return by Georgia Tech. So they've got first down at the 28. Here's Jones. Throws underneath to his tight end. And Goolsby is nailed.
And Tim, to tell you how big a penalty that is, it goes in the books as a 10-yard clip from the point. But they would have had the ball on about the 35, 36-yard line. So you're looking at about a 40-yard penalty instead of 10.
No huddle. Georgia Tech comes out quickly. Second down, they need 1. Jones backside pressure, throws up top to Goolsby. No good. Now in college football, you only need 1 foot in, but the official was right there and said incomplete.
Watch Goolsby's feet here. See if he just in fact gets it. There's the catch. The foot's on the line. Good call by the official. Perfect position.
Dave, you talked about the running back problems of Georgia Tech. And right now, Jones with 4 carries, 37 yards. He's the quarterback. The rest of the team, 9 carries, 14 yards. There's a clock problem. Clock continued to move. And that has Bobby Ross furious. So they stopped play and I believe put some time back on the clock. It was down to 35 seconds. They put it back up to 52.
Reset the clock for 39 seconds.
I think.
Oh, look at Bobby Ross. He's furious.
Oh, he is upset. He doesn't even want 39.
No, it should have been 52, and they're only going to give him 4 seconds back on the clock. So it'll be 3rd down and 1. The ball on the 37. 39 seconds remain in the first half. Off the left tackle, Jimmy Lincoln. He's got the first down. That'll stop the clock with 33 seconds, and they'll move the sticks.
I think Georgia Tech just called a timeout in addition to that.
They did. The tackle was made by Dieter. Georgia Tech has 1 timeout left. 33 seconds on the clock.
Well, Tim, if you're at Penn State, you're thinking prevent defense. But with Sean Jones, you can't think all solid prevent. You've got to cover him because he'll pick you to death with 33 seconds. If he picks up 15, 18 yards on an out pattern, it only uses up 7, 8 yards. I mean, 7, 8 seconds. Comes right back, does it again, and pretty soon they're right down the field. So with his ability and strength, you just can't sit back there and play deep and let everybody catch it in front of you.
Well, at least they want to get in field goal range for Scott Sisson. Jones 5 for 13, 46 yards.
That's a pretty fair field goal kicker, Sisson, isn't he?
Well, last year he beat Virginia. Virginia Tech tied North Carolina with last-second field goals. But they still have a long way to go to get within his range. Jones steps up in the pocket, throws underneath, has Rodriguez. And Rodriguez is down to the 47-yard line.
Well, I thought one official called it no completion. I thought the other one said he fumbled it out of bounds.
It is complete. Georgia Tech comes up to the line quickly. They'll move the sticks. The clock is at 26 seconds.
Now watch the tail end of the play here. He fumbles the ball from about 5 yards in bounds. Watch right here. Boom, it just pops out there. They counted it a completion.
First down, Yellow Jackets. Jones, quick thrust, has it, has the man, and Merchant with a big move down to the 34-yard line. 20 seconds remain on the clock. Again, they'll stop the clock and move the chains.
Now you get your offense, you get up there, you're set, you've already called the play, you got the men on the ball, so you use as little time as possible on this play. As soon as they blow that whistle, you want to be snapping the ball.
Jones, incomplete. That'll stop the clock with 15 seconds. They still need another play, I think, to get in Sisson's range.
Interesting, Penn State still in a man-to-man defense. They're covering man-to-man off the line. Yeah, there's a big tendency to put that one guy in center field and let him react to where the quarterback throws. Penn State staying in that man-to-man defense in the secondary.
Jones has hit 5 of his last 8 passes. This is fairly impressive, this drive. They've got 15 seconds to work with.
I think you got to throw one to the end zone. Just try one to the end zone.
Jones has time, looks deep, and there's nobody even close to that pass. So 5 seconds go off the clock. 10 seconds remain in the half.
Now, if our scoreboard clock is right, Georgia Tech still has 1 timeout, so they can get in better field position.
Rodriguez and Humphreys were bumping and grinding all the way down the field and never got that deep. Georgia Tech still has 1 timeout remaining. Jones has to move out of the pocket. Now throws deep. Incomplete. It was intended for Jimmy Lincoln. Keith Goganis was with him.
Did you see what almost happened, though, when Goganis, the ball hit him in the chest and popped out?
McGill almost got it.
And almost got that ball. Goganis is 42. He's right in the middle of your screen. You'll see him step in front. Now the ball goes up. And look at McGill coming across the end zone right there and almost comes up with it.
Scott Sisson. 51 yards. It's long enough. And it's good. So as the first half comes to a close, Scott Sisson gets Georgia Tech on the board. Well, how about that? Interesting first half to the 1991 college football season. 13-3, State.
And Tech is fortunate to only be down 10 points.
Well, I agree with that, and I think on the other side, Penn State would like to have more points on the board as well as they move the ball. Georgia Tech just down by 10. The Kickoff Classic on Raycom is being brought to you by Aflac, insuring over 35 million people worldwide. By Budweiser, the king of beers with that clean, crisp, cold taste. Nothing beats a Bud. And by Oldsmobile. Come see the power of intelligent engineering. Tony Sacca, number 19, the quarterback at Penn State, the hero of the first half. 2 touchdown passes to Terry Smith. The Yellow Jackets came back, had a field goal on the last play of the first half from 51 yards from Scott Sisson, and that's where we are, 13-3. Tim Brandt and Dave Rowe with you tonight at the 9th Annual Kickoff Classic at Giant Stadium in the Meadowlands.
Well, I think one of the key plays in that first half was on that 4th down play when they brought Swilling in and tried to use him. I think that almost emphasizes, this is the play, 4th down and 1, where it almost emphasizes, again, the lack of running backs. They bring Swilling in, who's just a premier defensive safety. And there he gets stopped short. 4th down. They have to give the ball back to Penn State. just shows you that how thin they are. 5 of their 6 players tonight were supposed to be redshirt freshmen. Oh, that's just amazing. Coming to a game of this magnitude with 5 of 6 being redshirt freshmen.
As you look at Ken Swilling, let me tell you that the scouts say that he would have been one of the top 5 players picked in the draft had he come out early last year. He could have been #1 this year. Well, he runs a 4.4 40. He's got great size, and they used him as a running back. Right now, let's eavesdrop because there's quite a show going on here at halftime as the Big Blue Band of Penn State and the Georgia Tech Band kick it up. Exploding over Giant Stadium in East Rutherford as they play In the Mood. I can tell you who's not in the mood, the 2 coaches. During that halftime for the last 4 or 5 minutes, the teams have been on the field. The halftime has gone long, and I'll guarantee you the coaches aren't in the mood for that.
You know how impatient coaches are to start the second half. You bring your players out, you want them to warm up. They came out, they ran a little bit, got the adrenaline flowing, and all of a sudden now they've had to stand here for 4 or 5 minutes.
What does Bobby Ross and Joe Paterno tell their clubs at halftime?
Well, I think for Bobby Ross, he tells them, listen, we're in this football game. Take a deep breath. Let's get our composure back. Let's run our offense the way we know we can run it. Sean Jones has got the capabilities to more than lead this team back to victory. If you're Joe Paterno, you tell him, don't get complacent. Defense, you've just played magnificently in the first half. Offense, keep moving the football up and down the field. Don't give them a break. Don't turn the ball over.
All right, let's summarize the first half for you, and we'll show you the Penn State possessions because they were extremely effective.
Well, there they are. You see the starting position. They started one time on Tech's 46-yard line, their own 40. They got great field position. They seem to gain every time. Scored 2 touchdowns. Good results from their field position in the first half possession. For Georgia Tech, it's been a different story. They started off deep in their own territory several times. They've had to punt. They gave the ball over on that one time when they were unable to pick up that first down. And only on that last drive, when they moved to 39 yards, did they get a 51-yard field goal to get on the scoreboard.
We pause briefly now for station identification. This is the Raycom Network. Stadium is shaking.
Look at him. He's not happy. He's even loosened up his tie. You know, everybody talks about Penn State's uniforms. Joe Paterno has his own uniform. Those nice big thick glasses, rolled up shoes, cuffs, white socks.
Joe Paterno did not want to play in this game. He said so openly. Said, I don't need to play Georgia Tech to prove anything. I don't want to go to the kickoff classic. Our schedule's tough enough. But then the kid said, hey, coach, we want to go. And he says, if you want to play, I'll take you. They're here. They lead 13-3. Alan Waters will be kicking off for Penn State. Or for Georgia Tech, rather. This is O.J. McDuffie. McDuffie with an outstanding cut out to the 31-yard line, and there's a flag down, a late flag. 23-yard return. We'll wait to see what the penalty is. Tackle was made by Steve Farr.
Incidental face mask against the kicking team, 5 yards.
There's the light face mask where the hand just comes up on the face mask itself. You don't use the face mask to tackle. It's a 5-yard penalty as opposed to the major penalty, which is grabbing the face mask and yanking him down with it.
I understand the reasoning for the rule. They want to try to alleviate injury. But I can tell you, as a defensive player, that hand occasionally gets caught in there accidentally, and you get it out quickly, but you still get penalized. This is Gary Collins out to the 40-yard line as we start the second half. Just underway. Tim Brandt and Dave Rowe with you at Giant Stadium. Penn State in white. Very plain white.
Well, they've really jazzed him up over the last few years. Put the number on the sleeve.
Joe Paterno has always liked simplicity. Less is more. Second down and 7 on the 40. The draw play. This is Collins. Collins breaks a tackle and has a first down for Penn State. Gary Collins, 5'8", 188-pound senior. He's out of New Jersey.
Boy, nice play here by Collins. The explosion off the ball. Watch this. He almost gets caught on the backside. But again, that foot speed into the hole. Good vision. Always cutting, darting back and forth. Picks up that first down.
Some great talent in that Collins family. His brother Andre is a linebacker with the Washington Redskins. His younger brother Phil is a wide receiver on this team. Straight ahead gash, big hold into Georgia Tech territory to the 37. And Eric Bellamy, the free safety, finally gets him down.
When that offensive line of Penn State's really coming off the ball in this first series. They just blew Baxter off the line. You see Baxter number 50 in there. They just blow him off the line. They just controlled him at the point of attack. Right there you see Gash make the cutback on the center. Nice cutback. That's the real mark of a running back, when he has that vision into the hole that he can see where the cut is.
Bang ahead again goes Gash. And he's close to another first down. He'll be about 2 yards shy.
Boy, this is a great waste down. Second down and about 1.5, 2 yards to go. You know how those quarterbacks love to fake it in there and get that one-on-one and throw it up.
Gash now has 67 yards, and we're just underway in the second half. He had only 315 all of last year. Third down, they need 3. Here's Collins, and he'll lose yardage. Great penetration by Williams.
Great penetration. Also by Rudolph. He was right in there. Watch on the right of your screen. There's the penetration. You see he has to step over.
That's a pretty good lick by 45 Williams, too. Bobby Ross says Williams is to this defense what Jerry Mays was to the '89 offense. A force, a leader. Third down and 4 on the 32. Saka's got pressure up the middle, runs out of the pocket, throws across his body, and it's incomplete. Boy, Bellamy got a hand on it, almost picked it off.
That is a hard throw to throw across your body, but Saka just really didn't deliver the ball strong. He needed to throw a rocket in there. He had him standing wide open in the middle.
I'll tell you this, the Georgia Tech secondary missed a great opportunity there because that ball was up for grabs and should have been picked off. Craig Fayak will come on to attempt the field goal. Fayak last year hit 68%. He was 15 of 22. 51 yards was his longest. This will be from 49. And it's going to be short. So Fayak misses from 49. Sisson on the other side had hit from 51. So right now Scott Sisson of Georgia Tech has the advantage. But Penn State still has the lead. 12:09 remaining third quarter. Score remains the same. 9 remaining third quarter. Tim Brandt and Dave Rowe with you from Giant Stadium. Goodyear blimp. Shots from the Spirit of Akron are brought to you by Goodyear Tires and Blimp Tour 91 rather. The captain is Dick Esch from Barrington, Illinois. First down and 10 at the 33 for the Yellow Jackets. Outside pass to Lincoln, and Lincoln on the lateral on the option picks up about 6. Keith Go-Go Goganis knocks him out. Goganis, one of the co-captains of this defense, 6'3", 233 pounds. Still waiting for Sean Jones to get on track. You know, he's carried most of the load. He's played quite well, but he's not been supported. He's gotten the pass out there, and his receivers have not been able to hold on to him.
They've had several drop passes that were easy completions.
Second down and 3. The outside pitch again to Lincoln. He's got the first down. Oh, what a play by Jones, who brought it back, had to hesitate, and got the pitch out there late, but they picked up the first.
We talked earlier about Jimmy Lincoln's size, 5'9", 183 pounds, but he runs a 4.37 40-yard dash. That's flat out moving.
Quicker than Gossip. First down and 10 at the 43. It's late. Here's Jones with a whole lot of company in the backfield. Needs a block, and he'll go out of bounds at the 40-yard line. Running for his life. It'll be a loss of 4. That might have been one he would have thrown away. He would have been wise to throw it away.
I'm just really surprised how Penn State has been able to play man-to-man defense against Jones. They've been blitzing some of those linebackers to try to put pressure on Jones. You talked about him being a marked man, but they've been able to cover their wideouts with cornerbacks in man-to-man coverage, and doing a very good job of it.
It'll be second down and about 13. Here's the pressure again. Jones eludes a tackle, and he's got some open field. Jones has the first down for Georgia Tech. He's special.
He said, I love the challenge. He said, I love to come in a game like this. I like the pressure on me. Boy, as he responded. He should have been tackled on the outside here. He's going to flush out to his right. Look at this. He just sheds the tackler. Just sheds him off and picks up that big yards. That's McKenzie, too. McKenzie's an excellent football player. Gets that head down, get that first down, keep this drive alive for Georgia Tech.
First and 10, Yellow Jackets. Smith gets about 4. Boy, Sean Jones, what a play that was, and they needed it. He set a school record for total yards last year. I think everybody knows that. He was the Citrus Bowl most valuable player in that 45-21 win over Nebraska. We said at the beginning, Tech always wants to expose the talents of Jones. He has to have the football. Second and 7. Play clock at 2. They get it off at 1. Almost picked off. Is it? No, incomplete.
No, I think it was caught.
They're ruling it incomplete.
Oh, you may be right. Oh, that was amazing, Tim. The ball, one of the players caught it, fell on the ground. It popped up. I thought another player might have caught it in the air.
D'Onofrio thought he had the INT, but the official was emphatic with his call immediately.
Well, the ball's going to be blocked right on the line. Let's see if we can see it. Now, there's the ball. Dieter blocks the ball. There he catches the ball. Now, when he goes down, he throws the ball over. That's where he thought he caught it. Well, that's good eyes for an old player like you, buddy.
It brings up 3rd and 7. The Yellow Jackets may have gotten a break. Jones throws. It's complete. Rodriguez. He will not have the first down. It'll be short of by about a yard. Mark Graham saved that. He came out of the cornerback spot to make the tackle.
Well, let me tell you, if I'm Bobby Ross, I think I've got to go for this.
Well, he went earlier and didn't get it.
Well, you know what I would do? I think I'd take Sean Jones. Let's just let him run with it. But I think they're going to elect to punt.
Well, Billy Weaver's on. He's the punter, standing at his own 48. O.J. McDuffie for Penn State is at the 10. Now, Weaver will try to pooch this thing inside the 10 and not give McDuffie a chance to return it. They may just take the long count and see if they can draw Penn State off. They do, and time expires, so they'll move it back on a delay call. Good strategy, can't argue with that.
I'm a little bit surprised if Penn State takes it, because you've got a better chance on that pooch kick of getting inside the 10-yard line on a shorter distance. You punt it higher. They don't have to cover as far. That's Herman Weaver's son, isn't it?
But you do want
Detroit player, by the way.
Yeah, Herman Thunderfoot Weaver.
Right.
Great player out of Tennessee, Detroit out of the NFL. Weaver will try to pooch it. High spiraling kick. McDuffie calls for a fair catch and puts it on the ground at the 12.
Oh, no. Boy, this is going to really hurt Georgia Tech.
Going to call him for a late hit out of bounds.
Yeah. When McDuffie caught the ball bounced out of his hands, and the Georgia Tech player dove, looked as if he was diving for the ball. They're going to throw a penalty. Instead of having the ball on about the 13-yard line, they're going to bring it out.
No replay in college football, but I think if the ball's loose, he has a right to dive for this. Watch this.
Oh, watch this. The ball comes loose right there. Now watch the Tech player come in trying to dive for the ball.
Oh, man, you can't throw a flag on that. But they do. Penn State gets another break. We'll return after these messages from your local station. This is Raycom Network. Penn State leads Georgia Tech 13-3. 9:11 remaining third quarter. Shot from the Goodyear blimp. Tim Brandt, Dave Rowe with you. Penn State has gotten two great breaks now. One on a third down, which really could have hurt them earlier, where they were not penalized for offsides or jumping, and then of course this one.
Oh, this one here, this is a killer, because they were going to have the ball inside about the 10-yard line, and it was a crazy call. I just don't believe in a call. He didn't spear him. He just was diving for the ball. It's aggressive play, and it gives Penn State great field position.
First down at the 27. Tony Sackett to throw. Has a man open. It's McDuffie. And knocked away at the very last second by Curly Day and Tom Johnson. McDuffie still had a chance to make the catch.
Well, what McDuffie did is he didn't catch the ball away from his body. Coaches will tell you, catch the ball away from your body. Watch, it hits him right in the hip. He tries to catch it right in close. It hits him right on the hip and bounces out. You're right, he had a second chance, but you know you have to catch that ball. You have to reach out and catch it.
So it'll bring up second down and 10 at the 27. Gash. Met right in the hole by Jarrell Williams. Jarrell Williams, a senior, not big, not fast. He's got poor posture, but I'm telling you, he is productive. His mom's a teacher, dad a supervisor of the Savannah River plant. Quality young man.
Started 23 games in a row. Very, very durable at that linebacker spot.
Penn State now faced with a 3rd and 9 from their own 28. Here comes the pressure on Saka. Rolls to the right side, feels the pressure and runs out of bounds. The pressure came from Coleman Rudolph. And so Saka goes out of bounds, and Penn State now will have to punt. So despite the penalty, the Yellow Jacket defense rises to the occasion.
Well, you want to see what it's like in the trenches? Watch number 66, Greg Huntington. Just punching in there, pushes in there. He's just battling along. That's quite a battle there. He and Baxter in the middle.
Pretty good bull rush by Coleman Rudolph as well. Helkowski on to punt. And Jason McGill standing at his own 35-yard line for Georgia Tech. Oh, great pressure. It's a high punt, and Helkowski just boomed it. Ball's loose. Penn State's got it. But Helkowski made the play with a 50-yard punt.
Well, watch Willie Clay, number 4, come in from the left of your screen. Look how close he gets to the ball. This is the fumble on the other side. It just bounces right back into Penn State's hands. They recovered. They've got great field position at Georgia Tech's 30.
First turnover of the game. Gash bangs ahead to the 29. Do you believe that? First college game of the year, and therein lies the first turnover. Big night for Sam Gash. Boy, McGill will see that punt and the fumble in his sleep for weeks. Second down and 9. Saka again feels the heat and goes down. Marco Coleman.
I'll tell you, when Coleman comes off the ball at 6'4", 258, he just bursts up the middle. You'll see him, number 95. Watch how he just bursts up the middle, just pushes him aside. Good button jerk move right there, and boom, there he is right in Saka's face.
Well, you mentioned the similarities to Lawrence Taylor. That looked familiar.
It certainly did. And a lot of quarterbacks have seen that move.
Here they come again. Saka does dump this one. This is Anderson. Anderson inside the 20. Down to the 15-yard line. Great play by Saka to get the ball to Anderson.
I think that's the key on the play. We talked earlier about how Saka had to respond. He had to perform. This is senior leadership. He was under tremendous pressure. Watch the pressure on number 19, Tony Saka. Right in his face. There's that leadership. He never sees the completion of the play. That was Rudolph again in his face. That's the difference right there between something that's going down for a sack, you're out of field position, and now you're first down inside the 15-yard line.
Saka's been sacked 5 times, almost that time, but he made a great play. Here's the pitch back to Anderson. He gets back to the line of scrimmage. Baxter and Rudolph. Under the circumstances against the very talented Georgia Tech defense, this guy's playing a whale of a game.
You know, an interesting thing about Saka, he would be a red-shirted junior this year had he not had to play his freshman year. But they were so thin that year, they had to bring him in. Really, he could be just a junior with another year to play. However, he is, of course, a senior.
Georgia Tech will take a timeout. 5:52 remaining in the third period. We'll be back after this message from our good friends at Budweiser.
Deep breaths. Georgia Tech has been in a lot in this half, especially on defense. They have really been out there. I watched the last time when they broke. They were all kneeling down. Penn State, on the other hand, standing up, clapping their hands. They're an enthusiastic bunch now.
Brett's got short, and Mal's got wide open. Second down and 10 at the 15 for Penn State. Yellow Jackets need a big play. And I mean right now. Saka with time throws to Smith, incomplete. Smith had broken clear for just a second. The ball was high and overthrown. Now Saka has hooked up with Smith for 2 touchdowns, and Penn State leads by 10. But right now it'll be third down and 10 at the 15.
Now, if you're Joe Paterno, what you want here is you don't want a mistake. If you're Bobby Ross, you're saying we need to come up with something. We need to stop them here. We need to force a field goal, block it, a miss. We need to get our offense back on this football field.
Georgia Tech has hung tough, trailing only by 10. They don't want the ball game to get away from them, and could right here. Saka is sacked for the 6th time tonight. It's Marco Coleman.
Boy, I'm going to tell you one thing right now. He has seen enough of Coleman tonight to last a year. Coleman just bursts up through there. You know, there's several ways that you rush as a lineman. This is a bull rush. Look at him just sprinting up through there. Great balance. He just explodes up in there and gets Saka. All night long he's been in there. He's just been in Saka's face 7, 8, 9 times. Amazing.
He had 18 sacks in his first 2 seasons. Trey Fayak comes on to attempt a 42-yarder. He missed earlier from 49. This one has the distance, but is wide right. So once again, we see the effect of the new rule, bringing in the uprights by 5 feet. Yellow Jackets still within 10. Well, Saka has hit Smith for 2 touchdowns, but the disappointing factor of this game for Penn State has been Craig Fayak. Tough night. Missed an extra point, missed 2 field goals. First down, Georgia Tech. Ball's on the ground again. Penn State got it.
Wait a minute, there's a flag on the play, Tim.
There is a flag, and I think Penn State jumped over. Tyoka Jackson recovered the fumble, but here's the call, and it is important. Well, I think it's almost time for a Georgia Tech break, don't you?
Boy, it certainly seems like it is. They've had every penalty flag tonight has gone against them.
Against the offense.
Oh, and it continues.
It'll be declined. The ball goes over.
Now, I sure thought Penn State jumped into the neutral zone on the first snap count. Let's see if we can see that again. Watch this. Watch the jump by Penn State players. There's the emphasis. They get down now. I don't see any illegal procedure on that play. It's not right in our picture. There's the fumble. You'll see Penn State swarm on the ball. But every penalty has gone against Georgia Tech tonight.
Yep. First down and 10 at the 21 for Penn State. And Nittany Lions have played well. They've made their breaks. Looks like a broken play, but it's going to turn out well for Saka. Cuts inside the 10 to the 6-yard line.
I would say yes, it's a broken play, except I saw those 2 wideouts throw blocks. They're not accustomed to throwing blocks down the field. Saka has come out of the ball several times off the ball, looking at that backside containment, and he sees right here is a breakdown. Now, I'd say right there, maybe broken play, except watch those 2 wideouts throwing blocks downfield. There you see Terry Smith, Aiden there throwing a block. That's a design play.
Either that or he was yelling fire. Look out, here I come. First and goal at the 6. Richie Anderson stopped immediately. Georgia Tech defense fighting for its life right now. And I mean to tell you, the momentum they gained by shutting down and stopping Penn State deep on the last series, all that wind was deflated in a hurry after the offense turned it right back over. We pause briefly for station identification. This is the Raycom Network. Anderson back to the 5. Eric Fry with the tackle.
If I'm Tony Saka, I've got to signal over the coach. I've got to brush off what his call and say, Coach, let me throw it one time. Let me throw into the end zone. I'll throw a safe pass.
Al Golden comes limping out of the game for Penn State. The big tight end is a little bit dinged. So into the game comes Rick Sales. And Kyle Brady, 2 tight ends. Approaching the 3-minute mark in the 3rd period. It's 3rd down and goal from the 5. Touchdown Penn State, O.J. McDuffie. They're partying in Happy Valley tonight.
I might almost go for 2 points in here from Joe Paterno.
I think he wants to give Fayak some confidence. Finally splits the sticks. Drive took only 3 plays, 21 yards in under 2 minutes.
This is from the Goodyear blimp. This is a slant pattern. McDuffie's on the right there by the 1. Watch how quickly he turns. Bing, right there, and there's the ball delivered right to him. Bam. Right in the seam. Boy, you talk about threading the needle. That's a perfect thread.
In the huddle, Saka says, "Where are you going?" to McDuffie. He says, "I'm going to Disney World." That's where he caught it in the end zone, where it says Disney World. .257 still remaining in the third quarter. But for the defending national champions, the door is slowly closing. The men in blue hold the nation's longest unbeaten streak at 16, and right now it's in serious jeopardy. Here's a look at Craig Fayak. He'll be kicking off, and Kevin Tisdale is deep. Tisdale's about ready to break one. Well, this ball's returned to the 21. And that'll be it.
Well, the scoring drive is going to be a short one.
Yeah, 4 plays.
I can tell you that. You get the field position on the 21-yard line, the plus 21. It doesn't take long to score.
I think Joe Paterno's trying to make Saka happy. Saka wanted to pass more. He's got 3 touchdown passes tonight. Here's the pitch back to Johnson. Great pursuit by the Penn State defense. Boy, I'm telling you, they run to the football. They've got that hunt and confront mentality.
Well, that's what coaches teach you. Don't get knocked down. If you do get knocked down, get up right away. Get that pursuit to the ball, and you see evidence there of 7, 8 white jerseys on the ball when the tackle is made.
It'll be 2nd down and 8. Jones with the play action. Has some pressure and goes deep. This will be picked off. Matt Baggett with the interception. And he brings it all the way back to the 39.
Boy, if Sean Jones ever made a poor decision, this was it. He was under pressure, but he just threw this one long. This was the old hope and a prayer, and it didn't come true for him. He just threw that ball up, and Baggett he was just like he was playing center field. You can see there as he was standing, as he came to the sideline, you know he's going to get a word from Bobby Ross saying, "Where were you throwing it?"
Well, Bobby Ross immediately went to Tim Johnson and had some words with him.
Oh, again, watch the pressure that Jones is under as he comes out here. There's the pressure in his face, and he just throws it long, and there's no one around it except Baggett.
Saka tries to return the favor, goes to O.J. McDuffie. Oh, did he get it? Yes! Wow.
That's the best way to describe that catch. Wow. You talk about concentration. That is an example of concentration that will not be matched this year.
That's talent. Back adds another one.
First of all, McDuffie had to go way high. That's the first thing he had to do over the defender. He's against Clay. Clay's an excellent defender. Excuse me, that's Day. There, he had to go high. Now watch the concentration. Bobbles the ball, looks back, continues concentration, catches it with his hand, pulls it in. Oh!
You don't want to analyze that. You want to just to admire it.
That's one of those oh my plays. Wow.
Well, they're going to tee it up again tomorrow night out in California. Day 2 of the 1991 college football season. It'll be the Disneyland Pigskin Classic. Brigham Young, Ty Detmer against Florida State, preseason #1 pick. Bobby Bowden's Seminoles. That's all live tomorrow night right here on Raycom.
For more information, call 201-935-3900.
27-3 Penn State. 148 still remaining, third period. But I think this one has gotten away from the Yellow Jackets. How about O.J. McDuffie? That catch would have made Lynn Swann proud.
Well, there's several ways as a receiver you catch it. You catch it with speed, with moves, and of course with concentration, looking the ball in, and he certainly did.
Here's Tisdale. Tisdale still on his feet to the 32-yard line. Well, O.J., I'll tell you what, that's a heck of a catch. That'll be in everybody's highlight film.
Here it is again. Watch this. Up high. Watch the concentration. That's the amazing thing. Falling down on your back. Still gets his hand up underneath it. It looked like it hit him in the nose one time. Drug it in. Oh, boy. You won't see it prettier. That reminds me of the catch that Swann made in the Super Bowl that one time. The concentration that he had against the Cowboys.
Little scissors play broken up the middle. And Smith is finally taken down by Darren Perry. Still plenty of time left in the ball game, but it's 27-3 Penn State, and I mean they have dominated to this point. Georgia Tech has hurt themselves. Flags fly. There was still 8 seconds remaining on the play clock, so we'll wait to see what it is.
Well, naturally, it's got to go against Georgia Tech. Everything has tonight.
False start, move them back. And this is what we're talking about. Georgia Tech hurting themselves. That's 9 penalties now against the Yellow Jackets for 72 yards. America's newest bowl game, Joe Robbie Stadium, December 28, 1991. Blockbuster Bowl 2. Last year they got off to a great start. Penn State and Florida State. Here's Sean Jones, gets the screen pass out to Lincoln, and Lincoln has nowhere to run. Darren Perry, the hero backer, or the strong safety, came over and tripped him up. Darren Perry is a finalist for the Jim Thorpe Award. That award honors the best defensive back in the country, and he's one of the finalists. Had 7 interceptions last year, and he is an instinctive player. Makes very few mistakes. 2nd down and 12, Georgia Tech. Jones goes deep, and Rodriguez can't get there.
Boy, Jones throws a beautiful ball, though, doesn't he? He just flicks it with that hand. It's out there 30, 40 yards, just a perfect spiral.
Well, it looks pretty. He's got to hit these guys.
Yeah, I played on some teams that had terrible quarterbacks. All they did was complete them. So I know what a pretty pass looks like from the other guys. And there's his record. There's his completions tonight. 9 completions, 23 attempts. Not a great night for Sean Jones.
Well, he has, in his defense, had to shoulder the burden. They could key on him because they knew they were not fearing the running backs. Jones again with play action. Throws this one over the middle high to Brent Goolsby, is split end, and it'll be a 1st down. And move the sticks up inside the 40 to the 38-yard line in Penn State territory.
Boy, didn't Goolsby go high for that one. Right over the middle, high pass. They just need some good things to start happening to them.
Goolsby is 6'3", 200-pounder. And he got up for that one. Dean's List student. So the third period comes to an end. We'll now begin the final 15 minutes of the first college game of the year. We'll return after these messages from your local station. This is the Raycom Network. Fire in his stomach for competition. 229 wins. I think that's an indicator, a measuring stick, not just of the talent, but of the long-term success of the program. First down and 10, the ball at the 39 for the Yellow Jackets. Here comes the pressure. Ball's loose. Still loose. Penn State's got it. Rich McKenzie. He knocked it out, and he recovered it.
McKenzie just bursts up the middle here. Looked as if no one touched him. Now watch this play. There's McKenzie, 99. Inside, good swat and rip up move. He's in the backfield right now. Now knocks the ball out. And watch this. Get back up, get back up. The ball's going to bounce around. Again, he's going to dive back. What a play by Rich McKenzie. That's a lineman's dream to get that one.
That is a big-time play. Fourth straight turnover for Georgia Tech. Collins, right side, gets a block on the corner and spins his way forward for a gain of 8. There is a flag. Well, you know, I'm sitting here thinking about the play McKenzie made, and the coaches told us he is a high-risk, high-reward type player. He makes countless big plays, and that's as big as you're going to find. Cause the fumble, chase it down, and recover it.
But you see how quick he got up off the ground? That's a great mark of a great, very well-coached team. What you do is you teach these linemen when they fall down, get right back up off the ground, and that's what McKenzie did. Got right back up off the ground. An opportunity was right there to recover that fumble.
We had a quick glimpse of a very disgruntled Bobby Ross on the sidelines. His Georgia Tech team, defending national champions, are about to have their 16-game unbeaten streak, the longest in the nation, ended.
Look at the turnovers in the second half. 4 straight, as you said, Tim, for Georgia Tech.
Saka sets up the screen nicely. Here comes Anderson. Anderson gets a block, high steps, has the first down. Look out. Richie Anderson. Touchdown, Penn State. Look out, folks. The floodgates are wide open.
Oh, boy, they are.
You think Joe Paterno doesn't have some talent?
I want to tell you, Tim, there was a great block there by E.J. Sandusky, who is Jerry Sandusky's son. He's number 77 in the front of your screen. Now, watch right there. They're circling out here now. He's going downfield. Great block right there. That's really what freed him up. Now Swilling misses right there. He gets blocked out of the play again. Swilling's going to come back, and he's going to miss the tackle on the 1-yard line, and he's by far their best tackler.
Crazy Legs Anderson. Looks like Lydell Mitchell.
Come on, bring it home, baby.
Go ahead and talk to her, Richie. Richie Anderson out of Sandy Spring, Maryland, 6'2", 216-pound junior. And I can tell you this, he's got 3 years of eligibility left. Look out. How about Tony Saka? His last 3 passes have been touchdowns. Here comes Tisdale. He's got company, and he's taken down rudely. Shelly Hammonds was there along with a whole host of Nittany Lions. Be sure to stay tuned to the end of tonight's kickoff classic when Dave and I will be selecting the Oldsmobile player of the game. And I think right now you can be safe to say that player will be wearing white.
Yeah, but which white?
Now that's the tough choice.
Boy. I mean, you look at Sackett, look at the game he's had. He's made a believer out of Joe Paterno that they can move the ball, throwing it. Look at that, 13 completions, 207 yards, 5 touchdowns.
Here's Jones. Throws it complete to Anthony Rice, and Rice is out close to a first down, about a yard shy. What's interesting about those numbers we just saw on Sack is that in this half alone, he's 4 for 7, 119 yards and 3 touchdowns.
Well, then I also think of this defensive unit of Penn State. We said earlier in our must that they had the potential to be the best defensive unit that Penn State's put on the field ever.
That's some statement. Lincoln is going to throw, does, and it's dropped by Bobby Rodriguez. That's the 9th drop pass by a Georgia Tech player in this ball game.
Boy, I know what a difference a year makes, isn't it? He has to be believing that. Everything went well for him last year. National championship. Hope to come into this year again. Has a great football team. This score is not indicative of how good this football team is.
3rd down and 1 on the 24. Jones hits Lester. Lester spins and turns and drives his way out to the 37-yard line. Darren Perry takes him down, but it will be enough for the first down. Let me take you back to 1983, the very first kickoff classic. Penn State was here. The only other time they made an appearance in this game, and Nebraska beat Penn State 44-6.
That's why Joe Paterno never wanted to come back here. Said, I had enough that year for all the years.
Well, he's returning the favor tonight.
Says he wants to coach 4 more years at Penn State. Wants to be 70 years old when he's thinking about it. He says every year he's told people next year I'll think about it. Now he's saying I'll stay 4 more years.
Poor pass by Jones. It was intended for David Hendricks. There is a flag, and tempers are becoming short. That'll be one of those sportsmanlike penalties.
Well, that's the one where they march off the yardage against one team and they march it off against the other team. Nobody gets hurt. They keep the ball in the same position.
I don't know. Did they say offsetting?
You see that?
Well, McKenzie will say goodnight. You see, Joe?
You better believe it.
He says get out, and that'll be it.
See, he does not stand for any mental mistakes.
Personal foul, defense, automatic first down.
He's hot.
Regardless of what the score is, he does not tolerate. No coach. Bobby Ross wouldn't do it either. They don't tolerate mistakes. And that's a mental mistake, to let your emotions get involved out there and take a swing at someone.
Can't let emotion get in the way of concentration. Well, it's good to see Joe with a 34-3 lead get upset like that. I tell you, he still has that burning desire in his stomach, and he's got a tough road ahead of him. Talk about that schedule in a second. They run this one straight ahead. Big play. First down and then some. Jimmy Lincoln breaks a couple of tackles, and he's all the way down to the 24.
Great run on this play. This is a delay. We used to call this a scissors play. The quarterback comes off. Now watch, the back doesn't start running forward. It's a scissors. He slants back off. The quarterback takes the ball back to him. Look at Lincoln when he gets a little crack in the line. He can pick up some big yardage. Nice run by the freshman redshirt.
Again, they slash, and this is Michael Smith. So a freshman to a freshman. First it's Lincoln, then it's Smith. Here's the storyline thus far in tonight's kickoff classic. It's brought to you by Napa. Saka, red hot. 5 touchdown passes. 2 to Smith, 2 to O.J. McDuffie.
And of course, those 4 turnovers. Those turnovers turned into 21 points for Penn State. For Georgia Tech, you mentioned it earlier, 9 dropped passes. That's a huge stat.
Second down and 1 for the Yellow Jackets. Long count. Jones has pressure, steps up, throws to the flats, and Stiegel carries it to the 11. So that'll be a first down, and they'll move the chains one more time. Georgia Tech still looking for its first touchdown of the 1991 season, and this from an offense that averaged 30 points a game last year. They scored 40 or more points in 5 of the last 6 games. But this defense, which you mentioned, is one of the best ever at Penn State, has just shut them down to this point.
You know, I think of the statement that they made that this may be one of the best defenses, and you start thinking of the players that Penn State has produced, the linebackers. Boy, and the defensive linemen they've produced, you're really saying a mouthful by saying this may be the best team, best defensive unit.
First down at the 12. Again, they run the quick draw to Jones to Lincoln. And Lincoln gets down to the 7.
I can tell you what Bobby Ross is thinking. He's thinking, listen, all right, this game, we're going to chalk this game up. Doesn't look good for us, obviously.
Oh, I beg to differ.
But it's a long season.
I beg to differ. I don't think he's ready to chalk this one up yet. I know Bobby too well. 10:55 left in the ball game, and to us, we feel it's over.
Yeah.
To him, absolutely not. He's still in it.
Well, you look, he's still got his starters out there.
Lincoln slashes down to the 5. And Lee Rubin makes the tackle.
I just don't think that Bobby Ross ever expected to turn his team around as fast as he did when he went to Georgia Tech.
I agree with you. You know, Penn State's schedule is murder. We just touched on that. Georgia Tech tonight. They play Notre Dame, Miami, BYU, Southern Cal. There are some former and future champions on that. Here's Jones throwing to the flat. Look out. I mean to tell you, Graham had his eyes on that football and about 99 yards of wide open spaces in front of him. That is murderous. Certainly one of the toughest in the country. Really aren't many breathers on there, are there?
No, there certainly are not. A lot of traditional games. Penn State game has always been a traditional game. The Penn State, excuse me, Pittsburgh game. The West Virginia game's always been good. Maryland, that's been a good game, even though Penn State has dominated that series.
4th down and 2 at the 5. Jones to the flats. It'll be close. I don't think he made it. David Hendricks, the ball carrier, was tripped up, and I think he's about a foot shy. He'll be close. Darren Perry tripped him up. Nope, he didn't make it. Ten minutes remain. It's 34-3, Penn State. Week for station identification. This is the Raycom Network.
TV 20, WXON, Detroit.
Matthew Patrick Nardolillo is now the quarterback at Giant Stadium for Penn State. With the Nittany Lions leading big, Joe Paterno sees fit to change quarterbacks, so Nardolillo comes in. He's an interesting story. Nardolillo and Saka shared first-team All-New Jersey honors when they were in high school. So one All-New Jersey quarterback gives way to another. Straight ahead they go. Brian Moser spins for a couple of tough yards. Saka leaves 13 of 24, 207 yards and 5 touchdowns. And I think, folks, Penn State has served notice tonight.
Well, it's grinded out time now for Penn State. You can just bet they're going to throw a pass at the last resort. They're just going to run this ball, try to pick up 2 or 3 first downs, get out of here with the victory.
Moser again right side, nothing there. The Georgia Tech defense closes down on him. Riley Boulware makes the tackle. The Goodyear blimp, shots from the Spirit of Akron, and brought to you by Goodyear Tires and Blimp Tour 91. Captain Dick Esch from Barrington, Illinois, has given us some spectacular shots this entire evening. Penn State just opened up the floodgates, 34-3, and 77,409 folks have enjoyed every second of this ball game. Ball's on the ground, picked up by Nardolillo. He gets it back, and Penn State will have to punt. Jarrell Williams made the tackle. Well, we said at the beginning of the ball game, the defense had to protect the offense. By that, I meant it had to stop Penn State quickly, but it didn't. Nittany Lions stayed on the field. Sean Jones was kept on the bench, and that's been a major difference.
Well, you try to think of what actually happened to Georgia Tech, what caused them to lose. I think of 2 or 3 drop passes in critical condition, just situations. I think of 2 or 3 turnovers. The fumbled punt was a killer. Just several things like that.
Belkowski feels pressure, gets off a punt. This will be Willie Clay. Clay is at the 49. Gets a good block, breaks up the middle, and Clay brings it back to the 30. Willie Clay is the cousin of Dwight Clay. Remember him? His shot for Notre Dame ended UCLA's win streak in basketball. Matt Baggett made the tackle. 37-yard punt, 19-yard return. We have 7:55 remaining in the ball game, and Penn State leads big. 100, and I think about 50,000 of them are trying to beat the traffic. Georgia Tech still alive, still trying to play. Trailing big. They know this one's going to be in the loss column, but here's the pass to Goolsby, and that pass is down to the 6-yard line. Rubin was the defender, and now Georgia Tech still trying to get that
nice
first
throw.
touchdown.
Beautiful throw here by Sean Jones. Watch this delivery. Steps up, bing, just throws the ball. Just a perfect pass. You kind of say, boy, if he'd had a few more of those earlier, a couple not passes that were dropped, completed, this may have really changed the complexion of this football game.
If and buts were candy and nuts, oh, what a party we'd have.
Every day'd be Christmas.
First and goal at the 6. 7:25 remaining in the ball game. Sean Jones still the quarterback. Hands off to Jimmy Lincoln, and Lincoln's down to the 5. Brett Wright, senior from Pomfret, Maryland, came up and made the tackle. You know, I can remember when Richie Anderson signed with Penn State. It was a big thing down in the Washington, Maryland area because he was an all-metropolitan player, outstanding player. And the University of Maryland had heavily recruited him, and he decided to go to Penn State. And I can tell you now, watching this game, those coaches at Maryland are going crazy. Big night for Richie Anderson. Spectacular touchdown run. 2nd down and goal from the 5. Jimmy Lincoln doesn't get back to the line of scrimmage. Knocked out by Lee Rubin.
Well, I want to tell you something. Penn State just plays marvelous defensive plan. You see people at the ball, at the point of attack all the time. They just keep on stringing it out. There's the pitch. Boom, they come up, they turn it out. There's the next person right in position to make the play. They pursue so very well. They're all quick. They don't get knocked down. I'm going to tell you, they have a marvelous defensive unit.
Well, last year, the coaches at Penn State said they either have great depth or a mediocre 22 because everybody played the same. Well, they found out almost everybody's talented. Here's Jones, puts it on the ground, ball's loose. Penn State says they've got it. They do. Another Georgia Tech turnover, and Penn State gets it back. Ivory Geathers makes the recovery. Well, when they talk about Ivory Geathers, they say the P word, potential, is impressive. But he's had nagging injuries. He comes up here with the big play.
Well, this is a quarterback draw. The play is a quarterback draw, and really Jones just nowhere to go up in there, just gets the ball ripped out.
6:34 remaining for Penn State tonight. Touchdown passes by Saka, a couple to Smith, a couple to OJ. It's been a big night. Nardalilla hands off to the backfield. And Shelly Hammonds, who used to play in the defensive secondary, comes over now, plays offense. They say he could be the next great Penn State tailback. He's a junior, but still has 3 years eligibility left. This one and 2 more.
Boy, what a game Hammonds had last year against Boston College. 208 yards rushing. Came in and played. 2 touchdowns. He just had a fantastic day.
Well, they just keep loading them up. Collins is a senior and Gash is a senior, but then look out. Anderson and Shelly Hammonds will be here for a while. Here he is again. He puts it on the ground. And Georgia Tech gets it back. Lethon Flowers made the recovery. And it was Mitch Jordan who stripped it loose.
You run with this ball and you get in traffic, you have got to tuck it away. And he just gets careless. He gets the ball ripped out from the back. That's where most fumbles happen. You know, when they're running with the football, comes out the backside to get that ball hit. They're really protected from the front, but when it gets hit out the back, there's just nothing back there, and that's what happened on that play.
Yellow Jackets still looking for their first touchdown of 1991. 5:49 remaining in the ball game.
Look at the enthusiasm by Sean Jones. There's no quit in him, saying, hey, let's play for some pride out here.
Jones drops, looks to the flat. Jimmy Lincoln has it bounced to him. I'd sit back right down and just start throwing right at the end zone. Forget the flats.
Yeah, but now you've got those linemen. They know you're going to pass, so they're just up on their haunches there, and they're just flying in your face. You don't have a whole lot of time.
Well, I understand that, but you can't really do that with Sean Jones. You can't lay your ears back, because as soon as you do, he'll run that quarterback draw and bring it up underneath of you.
Absolutely.
Second down at 10, the ball at the 12. Here's the pitch to Lincoln. Inside the 10 to the 5 to the 2-yard line. Jimmy Lincoln. And it'll bring up 3rd and goal from the 2.
That's close to a first down. They may have to measure that.
Well, when you think the Penn State defense lost Willie Thomas, at last year's captain, and Frank Giannetti, both of those guys are gone now. Almost everybody came back. Add a couple of the young players. And I'm telling you, this is one talented defense for Penn State.
Certainly is.
Moon over Giant Stadium. It's been a gorgeous night, hasn't it?
Oh, it has been a beautiful night for football. A little bit hot to start, but just a beautiful night.
1st and goal for Georgia Tech.
If I'm Sean Jones, I am going to flat out score. That's it. I don't care how we do it. We're going to score. That's what he's saying in that huddle. Everybody suck it up. That's what you say in a huddle like that. Suck it up. Let's blow them off the ball and let's get 7 points.
Swilling's in the ball game again. They try to bang it down. It's close to the goal line. I tell you, I'd like to see Swilling score. He is the full package.
He is that. Bobby Ross said he's the kind of guy that you want to get off the bus first when you play an away game. So everybody goes, good night, look how big they are.
Hey, well, let me tell you something. He bench presses over 400 pounds. He runs the 40-yard dash in 4.5. He's out of the mold of a Ronnie Lott or a Steve Atwood, a big hitter who can also cover. He's got great speed. He's now the tailback. Give it to him now. Touchdown, Georgia Tech.
Oh boy, I'd hate to see that young man get hurt. Got up and he scared me for a second. I thought Sean Jones might have gotten hurt. He got up and looked like he was going to limp.
He is limping. Boy, you'd hate to see a talent like that get hurt when it's 34-3.
Well, I was going to question why they've kept him in there. When I said to you that this game, for all intent and purposes, is over. I know there's no quit on Bobby Ross's part, but I question keeping your first-team quarterback in when you're down by 30-some points.
Well, that touchdown brings it to 34-9. And Penn State takes a timeout. So with 4 minutes and 40 seconds remaining in the ball game. We'll return after these messages from your local station. This is the Raycom Network. Georgia Tech took the timeout. They've decided to go for 2. Why not? They trail 34-9. Here's Jones. Puts it on the ground again, and they won't get it. Well, it's been that kind of night for Sean Jones.
Well, watch the touchdown play here by Jones. Comes down the line again, and you hear me question why you keep your quarterback in here. Watch the hit he gets right back in there. Got up, limped a little bit. They came back. He did play for 2 points. But again, I just question why that's the franchise right there. I mean, he's #1.
I think what he did was scrape his knee on the AstroTurf. Get down on all that paint down there. It's like sandpaper. 4:40 remaining in the kickoff classic. 34-9 is our score, Penn State. Penn State will play its first game in the Big Ten Conference September 4th, 1993. That'll be against Minnesota. So
there has been a huge outpouring of discontent about moving to the Big Ten because of the rivalries. You think of Penn State, you think of Penn State, Pittsburgh, Syracuse, Maryland, Boston College. I mean, there's been some great rivalries over the year.
Big Ten becomes the Big 11. Penn State will let this one go through for the touchback. They'll bring it out to the 20, and with 4:40, that's where the men in white will have it. Long night for that gentleman. Bobby Ross will go 0 for 5 against Joe Paterno. That's no disgrace. Joe Paterno is the winningest active coach in Division I-A football. 229 wins coming into this one. Tonight, he'll get number 230. I think what's even more impressive, not only all the wins, but the percentage of wins. He wins 80% of the time he goes out on the field. That's spectacular. Over a 25-year period, incredible.
Especially when you look at the names that are ahead of him. Oh boy, is he in some, he's in some real company.
Well, take a look at the names.
Bear Bryant, Alonzo Stagg, gosh. Woody Hayes, Schembechler. Now, he's got a chance to catch a few of them, but he's going to stay around a long time to get some of those top ones.
Hey, I get a kick out of Bo Schembechler. You know, when he was a football coach, he found it very difficult to talk to the media. Just didn't like it. Didn't have time for sportscasters. Now he is one. He'll be doing college football this year. Here's Shelly Hammonds. Shelly Hammonds picks up a chunky yardage. It's been an amazing year in college football. A lot of changes. A lot of things have taken place. Here's some of the schools on the move. Arkansas goes to the Southwest Conference in '92. South Carolina, Florida State, they move to the ACC. Penn State will go to the Big Ten. Fresno to the Big West. Nardulillo throws out of bounds. Say it's been a crazy year, and it has. You have the conferences that have been realigned, even one created, the Big East. The polls have changed. The presidents have wrested control, or tried to, from the athletic directors and the coaches. There are moves to increase the academic standards for athletic eligibility. And I think while oftentimes the newspaper headlines scream about academic shortcomings and recruiting violations in the NCAA, this game shines with these two coaches. They exemplify integrity. Fourth down and 3, so Penn State will punt. Low snap, high kick. This will be Willie Clay. Flags fly everywhere. Hey, you know, we're talking about the Big Ten and how Penn State will become the 11th team in that conference. Well, here's the Big Ten logo. And look what happens to it. Put an 11 in there.
There's where you stick the 11. Well, new quarterback, of course, for Georgia Tech.
A little creativity from our producer, David Handler. Jeff Howard comes into the ball game now. He'll be the quarterback. He's 6'2", 188 pounds. He's a redshirt junior.
You know, if you're out there playing, you look at all these penalties and fouls that have occurred. I'm telling you, every one of them has gone against Georgia Tech tonight. If you're on Georgia Tech, you got to say, hey, some of them have got to go our way once in a while. Everything has gone against them.
His first pass is deep and almost picked off. Boy, Lee Rubin had a beat on it and almost had the pick. So Jeff Howard goes 0 for 1. Jones leaves tonight 15 of 31, one interception, 155 yards.
Well, Rubin's out there playing like a center fielder. He's sitting back there. He's playing off the ball. He's looking at the quarterback's eyes. As soon as he sees the quarterback react to a player, he starts to come that way.
Well, the key word, I think, for Penn State is confidence. The Nittany Lions always seem to play with a lot of it. And it showed tonight. Under 3 minutes to play now. Mercifully. Here's the out pattern. They get it to Merchant. Merchant is is up to the 28-yard line. Run out of bounds by Jeff Kerwin. Actually, Kerwin tried to keep him in bounds so the clock could roll. And Merchant stretched out of bounds. So the clock stops at 2:53.
Well, one thing about Joe Paterno, he's got to be happy with his start this year. Remember last year he lost the first 2 games and then came back and won 9 in a row going into the Blockbuster Bowl. And I know that was a real concern to him to have to play a team like Georgia Tech in a national TV audience in front of all these people here, where he had a terrible memory in the Nebraska game. His team has really responded well.
Howard throws to the flats and has it complete. So they'll move the chains. He'll be close to a first down. He's got it, I believe. And Rodney Wilkerson makes the catch. Disney World put on a great casino night last night for the folks involved in the kickoff classic to honor those inducted into the Hall of Fame. It was a great evening. Hanging out with Minnie and Mickey Mouse last night. Woke up this morning a little goofy. Howard steps up in a pocket, throws across the middle. And Goolsby got rolled up on. And I don't know if it's the knee or the ankle, but he's in pain. Jeff Kerwin came in on the back of his leg.
He tried to slow down, and the defender ran right up the back of his leg.
Boy, watch this. He just gets caught underneath.
This is a crossing pattern, and Goolsby's out in front. You can see there, right up on the back of the leg. And when he comes down, you see the leg up underneath him?
Timeout on the field with 2:37 remaining in the game. We'll take one as well. Trailing 35-9, 34-9. Over the middle they go, and it's complete. So they'll move the chains and hurry up. Todd Vance with a very nice catch. Takes it all the way down to the 29.
You think they don't still want to score? Hurry up offense. Down 34-9. They want to score. Get some pride back.
Georgia Tech brought 85 players to this game. Here's Howard again. Chased out of the pocket. He's got company. Better get out of bounds. He does. Clock down at 2:13. We are pleased to announce that Tony Sacca of Penn State is tonight's Oldsmobile Player of the Game, a senior from Delran, New Jersey. 13 for 24, no interceptions and 5 touchdowns, 207 yards passing. Tonight's Oldsmobile Player of the Game, and I think even more than those numbers, he showed great leadership in the first college game of the year.
That certainly was one of our musts when we talked about what it would take for Penn State to win this football game. He had to exude leadership. He had to put away all the arguments with Joe Paterno on the offensive philosophy, and he did that. Boy, what a night he had. I think he's made a believer out of Joe Paterno that they can pass the ball and pass it effectively.
Going deep, complete, touchdown, McGill. Jason McGill puts Georgia Tech on the board again with 2:04 remaining. So that'll give the Yellow Jacket faithful something to cheer about.
They had a lot of faithful here. They had 10,000 people that drove up for this game. Came up for the game. 10,000.
Sold their entire allotment of tickets. Scott Sisson comes on to attempt the extra point. 8 plays, 85 yards. The drive took only a minute. Sisson puts another point on the board. He had hit from 51 yards out for the field goal earlier. And he now has 4 points tonight.
Well, just a beautiful roll by Howard. He rolls weak side. This is a little bit difficult because you have to square up and throw across your body if you don't. And he just throws a perfect ball. That's as well as you can throw the football. Close to being out of bounds, but it's a touchdown.
Pretty good body control by Jason McGill. He could be a star of the future. They say he has game-breaking speed. He's a true freshman, played last year. Sophomore now is out of Miami. And Jason McGill puts another 6 on the board. Sisson adds the 7th, and it's 34-16. Well, when they pick up the papers tomorrow, it won't look as bad now.
Well, if you're Penn State, you got to be thinking onside kick, although last time Georgia Tech kicked the ball deep. You know, you talked about players of the game. There's a lot of players in this football game. I think of that catch that McDuffie made. I haven't seen a catch like that in a long while.
Still the best play of the game, O.J. McDuffie's catch. Very reminiscent of Lynn Swann. Got to look at Terry Smith. He got him on the board early. 2 touchdown catches.
How about Gash with that leg drive driving up there? How about the defense? Defense played just a fantastic football game.
Richie Anderson had a touchdown run that was as pretty as you'll see. Here comes the onside kick attempt. Gets the big bounce. It's up for grabs. And Georgia Tech got it. How about that?
That was as well as you can execute the onside kick. What you do is you kick the ball so that on about the 3rd bounce, it always takes that real high bounce. It became a jump ball. They all went up just tipping for it. And Jordan, there's the ball. Now watch the next bounce. Bing, way up in the air. Now watch, it's a jump ball. Like a basketball play. Everybody goes up. And you just try to come down with it. That's as perfect as you can execute it.
So Georgia Tech takes over on the 49-yard line. Curly Day made the catch, the recovery. Hamilton has pressure, stays in the pocket anyway, and gets it to Lester. Lester down to the 35, the 30, inside the 25, and steps out of bounds to stop the clock with 1:50 left.
You know, all of a sudden you look at Howard and he's got over 100 yards passing. He's 5 of 8. He's having a pretty good day.
Well, I think when Bobby Ross talks to his team afterwards, he's going to credit them for not quitting. Our executive producer is Peter Rolfe. Senior coordinating producer of this game is Johnny Tyus. Kickoff Classic produced by David Handler. Some of the fine crew that brought you the Kickoff Classic. Going deep. Touchdown, Georgia Tech. It's Greg Lester who made the catch. And young Jeff Howard comes in and throws a couple of quick touchdown passes.
Boy, all of a sudden you've got some believers out of this Georgia Tech team. They're saying, hey, wait a minute, we could score. Now, I know, in fairness, you're not running against Penn State's first-team defense. Boy, Howard has thrown 2 or 3 real good strikes.
I'll tell you this, if Georgia Tech gets the ball back, you're going to see the first-team defense. Scott Sisson again. He misses this one, and there's another great indication of how they've closed the gap on the uprights. So it's 34-22 with 1:45 left.
Well, let me ask you something, Tim. They narrowed the gap 20%. Does that mean that 20% less of the kicks will make it through? Is that a fair assumption?
Well, we've seen that tonight.
Yes.
We've seen Fayak miss 3 times. He missed an extra point. He missed 2 field goals. And Scott Sisson, who's about as good as you can find in college football, misses an extra point.
This is his pass by Howard here. He's 6 of 9 for 139 yards, and he just throws just as well a ball. And now that's against Baggett too. He's a starter. All of a sudden, if you're a Penn State fan, you're saying, hey, wait a minute now. There's 1:45 left in this game.
No, but they're still in good shape. They trail by 12. Does Georgia Tech.
If he comes up with another one of those onside kicks, that high ball.
If he does, it's a miracle.
That just doesn't happen a whole lot. Get that perfect bounce.
And this one's recovered by Penn State. That one stayed low. Beepin Viz is our technical director tonight. Our associate producer, Rick Walensik. The rest of the Raycom crew that brought you the Kickoff Classic tonight, fine job they did.
Tony Sacca back at quarterback.
Tony Sacca back in at quarterback. This is Sam Gash, the starting fullback, and he breaks loose down inside the 30. So they're saying, hey, guys, don't get cocky. When we bring our first team in, we're still effective.
Well, you might question why he brought him back in. This is going to be all running. He's not going to risk his quarterback, obviously, getting back there and getting hit. But what he wants is he wants a good snap from center. He wants to make sure of that handoff so that there's no fumbles.
Wants to melt the clock. You were asking about the uprights. You know, Sisson had made 71 straight extra points before that last miss, so there is definitely effect. Anderson slashes down to the 23-yard line. The clock continues to move. 1:25 remaining in the ball game.
Now what you'll see is Saka come up to the line and look at that clock, that 25-second clock in the end zone, and he'll run it all the way down to 1 or 2, snap the ball on the last count, and run a play, just using up that clock.
Well, this has been fun.
It certainly has been, buddy.
Good to be back in the saddle with you,
nice
David
to be with
Rowe.
you.
College football season is back. 1991 season. Penn State has served notice. Will certainly be vying for a national championship. And I think this will dramatically hurt the chances of Georgia Tech. They won't be eliminated yet, but this will dramatically hurt their chances of a repeat. Anderson, the ball carrier, Rudolph the tackler. Remember, the college football season continues tomorrow night in Anaheim. It's the Walt Disney World Pigskin Classic. It'll be BYU and Florida State. I have a chance to see if Ty Detmer's come back from those shoulder separations that he received there at the end of the year. Georgia Tech takes a timeout, and it draws the boos of the faithful here.
Well, if you got those timeouts, there's no sense taking them into the locker room with you. Why not use them? You never know what might happen.
Georgia Tech's schedule, and this will make Bobby Ross angry, but it is not as tough as Penn State's. At Boston College, Virginia, which lost Sean Moore and Herman Moore, Clemson, NC State, Maryland, and Nittany Lions, of course. Boy, they've got a tough road to hoe. That schedule is murder. They play Georgia Tech, Notre Dame, Miami, BYU, Southern Cal, and as I said earlier, there are some former and future champions on that schedule. But they got by a big hurdle tonight, beating the defending national champion 34-22. Right now they're trying to melt the clock. 35 seconds remain here at the Meadowlands. And Georgia Tech's unbeaten streak of 16 straight games will come to an end. Anderson, right side, breaks the tackle inside the 15 to the 11-yard line. Richie Anderson. Ken Swilling finally made the tackle.
They may have to run one more play. There's 29 seconds on the clock as they started. They have 25 seconds to get the playoffs, so they will have to take one more snap.
Just a clock play. I would assume they'll just snap the ball and take the knee. Last play of the game. Anderson down to the 3. And that'll do it. The 9th annual Kickoff Classic has ended, and Penn State has been demonstrative. The final score, Penn State 34, Georgia Tech 22. The Kickoff Classic on Raycom has been brought to you by Coca-Cola Classic. You can't beat the real thing. By Oldsmobile. Come see the power of intelligent engineering. And by Norwegian Cruise Line. The best things in life at sea. So Penn State wins the first game of the year, 34-22. Tony Saka, 5 touchdown passes. He started early. He hit Terry Smith twice. Then he went to O.J. McDuffie. 2 touchdown passes to McDuffie. Then we saw Richie Anderson with a great run for a touchdown. So for Dave Rowe, this is Tim Brandt. Thanks for joining us. Tomorrow night on Raycom, top-ranked Florida State and BYU battle in the Disneyland Pigskin Classic. This has been a copyrighted presentation of Raycom. So long, everybody.
He's got the score to settle and the hardware to...